All right, we have to turn the mics on. We're about to start talking.
Yeah, we are.
Let me real quick run through our patrons who are very special, and we thank them, including Aga Comics, Qua, Jeremy Vasquez, Kylie Denton, Nestor Flores, Soto-san, 0424, and Video Gamer 75. And all the rest of you. So hey, this is what's up. We literally just watched EA Play.
You say EA Play, but more like EA Talks.
Well, yeah, but that's what the event is called. They call it their EA Play at E3. That's their little side event. That's not really an E3 convention hall, but it's also here, and it happened.
Yeah,
we
so
were there.
It started. Let's see if I remember right. It started 9 Pacific Standard Time, 12 Eastern Standard Time.
9:15, and that was 15 minutes of faffing around.
Yeah.
By the time you actually got here, you didn't miss anything when they actually started rolling on Fallen Order at 9:30.
Yeah, so that's what they started off. They honestly probably started off with what was their biggest draw, which was Star Wars Fallen Order, which is they have said is taking place between basically Clone Wars and episode 4. They haven't really said too many details on it, but let me fucking tell you, it's the goddamn Force Unleashed again.
Yeah, it looks like a soft spiritual reboot of Force Unleashed. The physics probably won't be quite as crazy, but like, oh hey, here's a door that's got a mysterious cut in it. Now you can force push it. It bends inward.
Ta-da!
You can pick up dudes and pull them to you, or throw them into other dudes.
Also looks like you got some sweet time powers.
Yeah, I think you can stasis objects, and it's just a single target. Maybe, but also sometimes it makes you look like you're moving slower, so I'm not 100% sure. And it could be that maybe they just haven't finalized all the special effects, because they made sure to call out that this was still alpha footage.
Oh, there was some alpha shit in there, let me tell you. But it showed off some cool things, like you can actually like force freeze those blaster bolts, and then like, throw people into them and cause damage, because, that's how energy works.
Yeah, they froze a guy in his blaster, and then they pulled the guy into his own shot, and it was hilarious. You can still force push people off cliffs.
That's very important.
The way they talked about it was that the animations are not necessarily like highly scripted, but are supposed to be more fluid. Like a couple of times we saw the pull a guy to you, stab him trick, which is apparently just dynamically what happens when you pull a guy, grab him, then stab him. Maybe you can throw him on the floor, push him again, whatever.
Yeah, we'll see. I said it is alpha, so I'm not expecting like amazing everything out of it. It was actually kind of funny because at one point, I was gonna actually get a remark on how well done the faces look, and for the main character, yeah, they look pretty fucking solid. They've been putting some work and effort. But then they scrolled over to a Wookiee, and I was just like, ah!
Well, here's your problem. That guy, that's probably performance capture. That's probably an actor. They 3D model his face. I don't think you can do that with a Wookiee costume.
Yeah, probably not. But at the same time, it's like...
But yes, you were right. The model was very unpolished.
Oh, by the way, everyone, here's a delayed... There you go. But, as I said, like, EA is actually solidly pushing it as a single-player action-adventure experience.
Mm-hmm. No microtransactions. It's actually just going to be all together.
So, a lot of people have been giving EA shit about their things, and we actually got onto talking about the new law that has been being put into effect.
Yeah, we talked a little bit more, because we'd mentioned it before on Let's Talk FGO, where people were concerned, but Lucky actually dug up the text of the bill that's being proposed, and we looked at it.
Actually, shit, what was it actually called? It was protection of training against, it was like something abuse. Shoot, I just had it. Let me pull it up again real quick.
AKA the loot box bill.
Yeah.
Here it is.
Let me see here. I can find it.
I got it. I scrolled up. This is the...
I'm just reopening all my old tabs and just looking at all the shit we were talking about at E3.
It's a bill to regulate certain pay-to-win microtransactions and sales of loot boxes and interactive digital entertainment products and for other purposes. So I don't know if that's the final name of the project, but that's what the bill sells itself as. And it's got some definitions and stuff. I personally have I think I reiterated this before, I think their definition of a pay-to-win transaction is way too strict. Because it can just be like they mentioned timer, they call it timer specifically, so it's like, if your game time is somehow limited or on a timer, but you can pay for more time. I'm like, wait, isn't that just MMOs? Is that like, but I think subscription models are are technically excluded because they deliberately exclude cosmetics only. So Overwatch is safe, everybody.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it's kind of funny about their definitions, and we
I found
it.
The actual name of the bill is the Protecting Children from Abusive Games Act. It's being proposed by Senator Josh Hawley.
Mm-hmm.
I actually don't know what state this guy runs for, but whatever. Oh, it's a U.S. Senator.
Senator Hawley. I want to say office Senator Republican Missouri.
So down south is being looking out for everyone's safety again. Please note the sarcasm.
Yeah, like I think I've said this before, definitely in our Discord, and I'll say it on air. Like because a lot of it's like make sure that the publishers and distributors are not targeting minors. I'm like, just dude, why can't parents just not give their minors credit cards? Because you got to do all this with like credit card information or PayPal and shit. Like we have a lot of regulation about how you can transfer money in this country. Why can't we just be like, yo, parents, don't give your kid a credit card? Like, why is that so hard? But at the same time, I understand the idea. I think that the way it's phrased, because here's my cynical idea on government is the government will pass the bill, it'll raise some rumbles about some stuff about whether or not people are actually doing it, but the government has more important things to do with its time and can't afford to spend the millions of dollars it would be to literally track every game ever. So there will be a token effort which will be will bypass the reasonable standard of what they called constructive knowledge. And then it'll be like, yo, you have to sign in to verify you're 18 before you can pay money. And then that's it. It will sound big and scary, and it may or may not stop some stuff, but I think a lot of it will just not necessarily.
Like, honestly, this is what happens a lot of times with a lot of bills like this that get brought up. You hear a lot of these about those. You hear this a lot with the censorship bills that come up like every year or so.
Or like not to necessarily take it to too fine a point because we're not. I don't think we're prepped to talk about that as a serious subject. But a lot of the quote unquote assault weapons bans have resulted in some very specific wording that has resulted in some very stupid gun designs that were technically legal. Like the one in the 90s was like a weapon can't it qualifies as an assault rifle or a short barreled rifle if it weighs over so many kilos. So one of these companies that was basically making pistol style AR-15s, right? Like the stock was cut off and it was short enough to theoretically hold with one hand. They produced a lightweight model where they basically skeletonized the shit out of the frame and drilled a bunch of holes in it so it was technically light enough. Nothing else changed about the gun's construction. So, like, that's how people treat laws. It's, okay, what does the law say we have to do? There's a new law.
All right, now how do we get around that?
Yeah, the government doesn't, I think, have the time or money to focus on making sure everything is, from a legal standpoint, like, executed in the perfect spirit to the law. So I feel like there'll be some token efforts, and then, like I said, some companies which are unfortunately too small to actually build this kind of authentication or build their own ID systems will be screwed. Big name companies will just be like, all right, put a fucking age gate check. All right, we have constructive knowledge. Everybody who signed into our service has to say that they're over 18. If they're not over 18, then they're lying to us, and that's illegal.
Not our problem, yo.
So yeah, we'll see. By the way, our chat's arguing about who counts as sabers, about who shoots a beam.
Oh my god, our chat is adorable sometimes. Oh, apparently I'm not the only one tweeting about Asanadaki Man.
Yep, I retweeted you though.
Thank you.
So let's get back to EA because we kind of got off that topic because we were talking about stuff we talked about while we weren't paying attention to EA Play. But no, Fallen Order was good. I think the total gameplay video, which is already out on YouTube, like I said, they were ready with the trigger as soon as that played live. They pulled the trigger. So it's like 13-ish minutes. It's pretty good. They've got a little bit of sizzle reel at the end showing you but they showed you some different stuff on Kashyyyk, and they showed off like Saw Gerrera's in it, who's a character from Clone Wars, Rebels, and then Rogue One. I think they based his model on Forrest Whitaker, the actor, but I don't know if Forrest actually came down to actually do the VO work. Who knows? I think
Maybe?
he actually did the
I
VO
wasn't-
work in Rebels, so I don't know. Like, I don't know if they got him. But yeah, so it looks pretty good. I'm interested to play. I mean, the gameplay style looks okay. You know, you got your fucking respawn traversals. You can wall run. You can force pull vines to you to swing. You know, you can climb up shit. You got a little droid buddy, BD1, and he will help you open doors and turn stuff on and give you stim packs.
He's very cute.
He is fucking adorable. And they made sure to point out that they had the original sound designer from the original trilogy, like, design his beeps and boops and stuff, and like, okay, I think Respawn is treating the franchise with the proper respect, and 2, they actually have a good base gameplay idea here.
Yeah.
I mean, like, if you were interested in, like, oh, is there gonna be like a dark side path? They were like, no, this story fits into a wider universe, so there's not that kind of versatility. This guy is a Jedi character, so he's going to stay a Jedi throughout the story. And I'm kind of like, yeah, I understand that, because otherwise they have to do what LucasArts and Lucasfilm had to do in the past, which was just be like, yeah, by the way, the light side ending's canon, obviously, because all the dark side endings are usually you take over the galaxy or something dumb, so the light side one's the canon one. That's what we're going with. And it's like, if your choice doesn't actually matter for canonicity, if you're trying to build a more canon compliant story, it makes sense to be like, no, there's one route, this is the route, we're just telling a story now, guys. We're sorry if that's not interactive enough for you, but we're telling the story. But
Meg, you got quiet there. You said, oh, okay.
No, I paused for a second. I took a breath.
Sorry, I wasn't sure.
I took a breath to. I'm going to mute Let's Talk FTO chat now, but I took a breath to go look over there. Yeah. I think you started on your thoughts on Fallen Order earlier, but once again, we got off track with like loot boxes and stuff. Do you have anything else to say about it?
Like I said, like again, like it's an alpha, so there's a lot of things in there that I'm hoping gets like a bit more polish. Like combat animations, they had some really cool ones, like flipping and attacking and whatnot. But then they just seem to have several ones that just seem to be doing the same stock one over and over again. So again, I'm hoping
also
that
they showed you earning skill points in gameplay, but they didn't show that mechanic, probably because it's not ready, or it's not finalized, right? They gotta balance that. So I'm assuming there's some kind of progression to do like more sick combos.
Yeah, that's what I'm assuming. They're gonna have like a combo, but like you're gonna have like two attack buttons, and you're gonna have your light and your heavy. You're gonna have your jump, your dodge. Mm-hmm. You'll probably have your like.
They explicitly called out that you have a double jump for force power. Yeah, you can double jump yourself, which is cool.
Another interesting mechanic though is it looks like you have your health bar, but it also seems like you have your force bar, which controls how long you can use your force powers, and you have a stamina bar for the use in combat.
By the way, I double-checked the footage. Some of the people said that, regular enemies. No, like, regular stormtroopers just have the one green bar, which is health, and most of those guys, like, die instantly. But, yeah, these purge troopers and some of these heavier enemies look like they have basically a stamina bar, where while they have stamina, they can do stuff like resist force powers, like, they'll dig their pike into the ground to, like, stop you pulling them, or they'll jump towards you and attack you.
It was like they're pretty cool. Like the enemy designs are like pretty on point. You saw stormtroopers, saw some scout troopers. They had the capstone was a fucking security droid coming up and fucking lifting you by the neck.
Saying dropped a sweet bance on you. No visitation. And then throws you around.
So, as I said, it's real Star Wars. That's most I can say. And again, the mechanics really remind me of Force Release. And I want to clarify it by saying that's not a bad thing.
No, I think it's funny that the only Star Wars games that EA is actually going to release are rehashes of old Star Wars games, but, like, if you were to take inspiration from a franchise, actually taking one of the things I want to talk about is they dropped a trailer for a full-blown remake of Destroy All Humans. Like, which I'm like, fuck yes, I wanted HD remasters, but I'll take a fucking, like, complete remake too. Like, dude. That's solid. I'll buy that game again. So, like, remaking isn't bad. It's only if they're, like, lazy or shitty that it's bad.
I don't think this is going to be lazy or shitty. Lazy. Nah.
And the gameplay.
I'm like, jury's out on what the actual story like is going to be, but I love Force Unleashed 1.
Yeah, we had a lot of conversation about about Force Unleashed, the first one and the second one, and how the second was just so short. Why is it so short?
We don't know. We just don't. But, what else was I going to mention? I talked about the models. I talked about the combat, leveling stuff. I said, I really like the set. The landscapes they're using look pretty good, too. And As I said, so yeah, honestly, just gotta hope for more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they have some good environmental. We'll see more. They got like several months before it comes out. It's not coming out until November, so it's like almost 6 months of polish time.
Yeah,
and news cycle.
And they kind of need it in some areas, I should say. Excuse me.
Which I'm sure that's what they're going to do. Like, it looks like their core. Well, they didn't even have to because they already had an engine, so they probably saved some dev time there. But like their core mechanics and setup is all fixed. They've got most of their basic models. And now it's probably with this few months to go, it's just polish. It's like finalizing the dialogue and recording it, like finalizing your sound design, double checking your models and making sure everything looks, and then bug fixing. We hope. Hey, speaking of, if you wanted to learn something about Anthem, good fucking luck. There was no Anthem at EA Play. Like, one of the devs showed up for 3 minutes, and you could sense that the audience and the hosts really wanted to, like, they wanted to be frank that, like, hey, Anthem kind of sucks right now. Are you guys going to fix it? But they couldn't. Because it was hosted by EA, they couldn't be quite that frank.
Yeah, damn it.
But no, they're gonna try, but I don't know if they're actually gonna pull it out. Like, I feel like they're not doing anything else with their time. So
I should actually double check. Like, Anthem. I don't know, like, what the roadmap is for Anthem going forward.
Yeah, that's the problem. I don't think anybody knows the roadmap. And its player base is basically gone for a multiplayer game. Like, everybody stopped. Because there's just nothing. Like, they were not able to deliver fixes in a timely fashion, which means they didn't move on to actual new content, which is what people wanted, because it was... Anthem was supposedly one of those games that was, once again, kind of content bare. It was like, okay, we've got, like, 6 different mission types, and then you get to endgame content, which is just the same mission types, but slightly harder, and you get cooler stuff. Like, it was a little bit like launch Destiny, where, oh, hey, there's, like, you beat the story. Well, then there's, like, 3 things you can do.
Yeah, that was my problem.
Which, I mean, Destiny eventually grew out of, and Destiny, Bungie makes very good core games, so the core gameplay loop of Destiny is very good. I haven't actually tried playing Anthem. It seems okay, like, watching videos, so, like, I think their core gameplay is alright, just maybe their loop wasn't as tight, and so people are just not as interested, which is, it's always sad, but we've talked before about the kind of problems that Anthem clearly had, and did not necessarily take steps to properly correct. Like, I mentioned Destiny there, and supposedly, according to, like, the big long Kotaku expose, they were not allowed to talk about Destiny in the dev office, which was fucking dumb.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you have to acknowledge your competition, right? Like, and be like, no, this is what people are doing, and learn from it. Because, hey, Destiny had a rocky launch, and Destiny 2 had a rocky launch. Maybe if you'd actually looked at what they did wrong, and tried to not do that yourselves, you wouldn't have had a rocky launch, but whatever. So after Fallen Order, which looks like it's going to be okay, they had Apex for a while. We didn't really pay too much attention, other than to kind of comment how, and, Respawn's cool. Their core gameplay for an FPS is pretty good, but neither of us really feels like we have the time to, like, group up and get good at Apex.
Yeah, they revealed a new character, which I think is good, and they're saying they're trying to shake up the meta a little bit.
Right. I think some people have complained that Apex also didn't kind of, like, jump into new content fast. That's why its player base kind of fell off a little bit too. And here the devs were like, no, hey, new hero, we're going to do more stuff when we do our next quote-unquote season pass. They call it their battle pass. And, like, no, we're changing stuff up so it's more responsive. And we're trying to actually adjust the metagame here so it stays interesting. Son of a bitch. God damn it, Shutin. She just fucking team stunned me. Great. all of you lost to her charm. Fuck you. Oh, thank God it missed. It missed the second time.
But yeah. Again, we got on this a little bit. We got on this a little bit because wasn't it after Apex Battlefield 5?
Yeah, Apex moved into Battlefield 5, which was literally nobody cared. Like, I feel kind of bad for Battlefield 5, but we had an audience of upwards of like 10.
Yeah,
and everybody was like, we completely tangented. We weren't talking about it. There was like 1 5-second where I was like, hey, are we guys talking about Battlefield 5?
No, there was 1 5...
Like, and then we were like, oh, hey, no, there's there's tanks, and they're flying, and they're blowing stuff up. It's cool. And then we moved on.
There was a moment where, like, there were, like, people were fighting on, like, a subway. I'm like, is this some single-player shit? And they're like, no, it's more multiplayer. I was like, God
no, this is a new multiplayer map, it looks like.
And we actually tangented on, like, on multiplayer games and which ones we like and single-player modes. Call of Duty came up a little bit because, we were talking about games set in ye olden times.
Mm-hmm.
like how World War II, and the Cold War had all these eras of combats, and how some people found it strange to be like going back in those days when you didn't have all the future tech that we have now.
I think you and I were a little quiet about that because of the thematic stuff, but I didn't necessarily want to break you into arguing about how it could be super interesting.
Yeah, I was going to, but like it just kind of ran over me, and I just shut up. Because we play Mages of War, and you've done a lot of research into shit that has popped up in like those early years. Mm. And I've been along on that journey.
Yeah, and like I said this even out loud to the audience, like, I can kind of understand what you're getting at, because like it can be like, oh hey, we have 5 different bolt-action rifles. Well, in reality, there are like subtle differences to like how far they go, and like, you know, some of them had slightly different calibers and stuff, because fuck standardization, right? Yep. But fundamentally, they're all like the same, you know, 5-ish shots, bolt action, stripper clip magazine. You know, so for gameplay purposes, those are all pretty similar. I can see why that's not as interesting. But at the same time, it's like, there are still differences there, and like, you can be interested in a game for a certain level of authenticity. I still want to pick up Battlefield 1 at some point.
Yeah. Like, honestly, like, that's the thing, because we're not going to tangent too far into Mages of War, but I'm going to use this as a reference. Playing Mages of War, for some odd reason, I feel like using these old weapons is a lot more interesting using modern-day weapons. Like, I don't know why. It's like, yeah, I don't have a clip of fucking 30 rounds that I can, like, just empty on a whim.
Well, it makes your decisions, I think, more tactful, because, like, when you're holding just a repeating rifle, you have to think about yourself, like, okay, I get 1 shot a turn, because it's a bolt action that's modeled in the game. Is like, you only get 1 attack per turn. Yeah. 1 attack action, anyway. So it's like, okay, I need to be careful with this. I need to pick and choose what I'm doing. And I've only got 5 shots, so I will run out of bullets in 5 turns, assuming I shoot every turn.
At that point, I have to affix bayonets.
Or you could take a reaction to reload, but, like, still, then you're like, well, I got 5 more shots, and then, you know. And automatic weapons with high magazine capacity are, like, they're a whole thing. Oh, and they're fucking heavy. Like, I think you complained at first when you got an automatic rifle, you were like, this thing's like 7 kilos, and I'm like, yeah, it fucking is. They really are that fucking heavy.
So it's like, yeah, I enjoy that. It's also kind of fun to like explore, like, you know, put yourself back in your those shoes of like, especially if you get like some new tech at the time, you're like, oh my god, this thing shoots a lot of fucking bullets. That's one of those things. So yeah, I do kind of want to play Battlefield 1 because it's also kind of a different mindset of war. This is the other part I was talking about, where even as a soldier, you can still have a bit of individuality, like in like how you conduct yourself and how you like work in your uniform and your weapons. You can literally pick up some guy's weapon who's dropped it and just go running with it. And it's like aesthetically, yeah, I think I'm more about like World War I, World War II, Cold War era stuff kind of stuff rather than like modern warfare kind of stuff. Because modern warfare, and it's all logistics and by the fucking numbers, and it's kind of...
Yeah, and honestly, like, I can understand the cool toys. Like, first of all, there's lots of aesthetically pleasing modern guns, and like...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's some fun tricks in there, like scopes and heartbeat sensors and whatever, and you can be like, oh, that's... From a gameplay perspective, that's fun, because that's something new and fresh, but at the same time, it's not required to your core gameplay loop. Your core gameplay loop is bang, pull the trigger. Mm-hmm. And, like, if some of them can be more strategic than others. So Battlefield 5, I realized DICE is really good at pretty things. They're really good at aesthetics. Like, the models they showed for all these maps, and they talked about how they're going to the Pacific, which may or may not actually be single player, I don't know, because they called it Chapter 5, and I'm like, so is that like a story chapter, or what? I don't know. But all those models and stuff they showed off look really pretty. Like, they look like really good designs, and because it's Frostbite, you'll be able to, like, blow them the fuck up and stuff, and that's cool, but... Otherwise, yeah, I wasn't too enthused about Battlefield 5. They didn't mention their Battle Royale mode at all, I think.
Nah, I don't think so.
And then after Battlefield 5 was the Sports Hour.
Ooh, FIFA. Ooh, FIFA.
Yeah, so FIFA was just bizarre. Like, I feel like we say this every year, but FIFA was weird. Because they were the shortest presentation, I think. And they showed so little gameplay. Like, they were really big about this new thing they're calling Volta Football, which, as far as I can understand, is small team indoor in enclosed space soccer for our American listeners. So, like, small teams, small spaces, like high fences, kind of urban street type. Like, this was totally an NBA thing a while back, was like, you can play on street courts. And I'm like, so on the one hand, I can understand that because that's got to be a lot more accessible, right? Relatable to your audience, because they don't play football or soccer, in a giant stadium. They play it with their friends in like a court on the streets. Mm-hmm. So like on the one hand, that's cool. On the other hand, the way they advertised this was just so weird. They went to Pele 2. They snapped to England, and I can't remember the singer-songwriter's name immediately. I've immediately forgotten her. But they had like a music person, they had a developer, and they had, I think you were right, Lucky, that he is, because he mentioned being a commentator. I think he stopped playing soccer and is a commentator now. So basically they had their Neo Pele.
Yeah.
And they just stood out in basically a Volta field and talked about the community and playing on the streets, and they showed the same gameplay clips over and over again. They made a big deal of how you'll be able to, because now they have this street angle, now you'll be able to make a female character and play as that, and I'm like, so on the one hand I'm like, okay, cool, but at the same time I'm like, this is really shitty that they're like, and our new marketing push, you can go to the streets so you can be a woman. I'm like, this feels scummy somehow. Like, I'm glad they are actually in a reasonable time frame bringing more diversity to player characters, right? Because I'm sure there are plenty of ladies that like the football soccer.
Oh, yeah, women's soccer league can get actually kind of fucking brutal. Like, holy shit.
Yeah, I bet. This is something I think I want to make a brief social commentary thing. This is something I've kind of noticed in my life. It's like, it's kind of like with animals in the wild. Like, dudes like to show fight. Like, we like to assert dominance and territoriality, but it takes a certain level to get into a real serious knockdown dragout. I feel like anytime women actually get into a physical conflict, it like immediately jumps to, no, we're fucking for serious fighting.
Actually, yeah, that's actually been a point. I can't remember where I read it, but there was a story of high school where if teachers had to break up a fight, they were to try to break up the boys, because basically the boys would stop as soon as they broke eye contact and got separated. But females, you actually had to wait for the cops to arrive.
Yeah, that's an interesting commentary about how our society breaks down. Like, dudes fight a little bit for show, but if women are gonna fight, they're gonna like really fight.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like hey, that's cool. I mean, I know they're FIFA branded. Does the FIFA League actually cover women's teams too? I don't know. I'm not a soccer expert, so I don't know if they'll have like professional women's teams, but it's cool that they're expanding, but at the same time, I'm like, this, because it's EA. I feel like they're trying to showboat.
I feel like they're trying to showboat it a little bit too.
Yeah, they did a little bit of showboating later. They were like, "Oh, hey, it's Pride Month and it's Pride Week, and so Sims 4 Pride content." And I'm like, "Okay, the content isn't bad, but I'm sus of the people bringing me this content." I'm like, "What's your angle here, Chief? Is this just a free download?" Because the developers did genuinely seem very nice. Like, we'll skip ahead, but at the end they talked about Sims 4, and their big reveal was they're doing a island pack vacation, and there was a little bit of environmentalism in there. They're like, yeah, the island will actually change here, and because you're living on it, so if you're scummy on your island, you leave lots of trash to build up, your island will get shittier, so, clean up your islands. By the way, it's, World Oceans Day, and like, okay. Like, when I hear them talk, I feel like the actual developers of The Sims genuinely feel about that. But at the same time, I'm like, do you guys actually care about the Pride stuff? And also, what's your angle here? Like, for the love of God, please don't tell me this is monetized. Like, please, this is a free pack, right? They're not literally trying to exploit this for money? I hope so.
Yeah, that'd be kind of the suck.
Yeah, I don't think they are, but, like, at the same time, it's EA. I wouldn't put it past them. So yeah, that was interesting to just see and be kind of like, are you doing a thing here, or what? But FIFA was like super boring, and it was super short. They finished with 10 minutes, they cut away, then they cut back to a presenter and Trevor Noah, who apparently really likes FIFA, and they basically talked about sports gacha.
They did.
Apparently Trevor Noah does the equivalent of low rarity solos. He plays with obscure players nobody remembers.
That's his jam.
Which, hey, that's cool. Like, I'm sure that makes it easier because you don't have to keep buying loot boxes to get rare players.
Yep.
Then was Madden, which we talked over Madden a lot, but I genuinely think like the Madden presentation was actually really good.
Yeah, no, the Madden presentation was kind of phenomenal. Like, all things considered.
like, they actually talked about the game, and they actually talked about what, like, some of the stuff was kind of dumb, like, they were talking about, and this will activate the X Factor. I'm like, that's hilarious. There's a perk system now, apparently, and you've got stuff like the scare down and other other stuff like that. I'm like, the developers are just having fun, but fuck it, let them have fun.
Yeah.
Like, it was kind of silly, but at the same time, it totally worked, and, like, they actually made it sound like they're doing a genuinely interesting game. Like, they talked about how they're adding new mechanics, like you can apparently pump fake now. They talked about how, because apparently it's a big... I don't follow American football super closely these days. Like, I'll watch a game every now and then, like, especially if you're with family, right? Like, yep. you go to somewhere on, like, Christmas or Thanksgiving, you're gonna end up watching some football. That just happens. But apparently it's a trend now to do run play option passes, so they're like, yeah, we've totally added those to the game, and they're in the playbook now. And we're actually going to update the playbook throughout the year as people, popularize new plays, which I think that's cool. That's actually something that people who understand football and watch football will care about. So that's pretty cool. It sounds like you're going to get some character customization to make your own superstars and stuff, and they're also putting an effort to make the individual real-life players feel more unique, which is cool and sounds like a lot of work.
Yeah.
It seems neat. I'm not going to buy it, because I don't care that much, but it seems like a cool effort. And hey, I don't think they mentioned, like, microtransactions at all. Yeah.
And so we also, like, put that probably on the effect of this bill that might be coming out, and EA's probably like, what do we do?
They're specifically advertising FIFA and Madden 20, so next year's games, which I think will come out, like, late this year. It's like cars. Madden and FIFA are like cars. But yeah, so it's like, if this law goes through, we probably want to shore up our monetization angle, just in case we have to, like, be more cautious with this.
So, but as I said, like, honestly, again, I genuinely enjoyed the Madden.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was cool.
As I said, like, it was fun. And they didn't do a fucking bunch of just, faffing about like they did in FIFA. That was the thing that bugged me.
They had the presenter, and then they had a staff member, and that was basically it. They just sat on the couch and talked.
They showed gameplay, and you're like, cool. Because that was something. FIFA had like almost no gameplay.
No, FIFA just showed the same gameplay clips of like animations over and over again, and I'm like, I guess this is the game, but like there was no HUD or anything. It was just, this is in-engine footage, but also look at how fucking hip and street we are.
So I'm just like, okay, I guess?
FIFA is a weird alien in video game terms. It's like, because they make shitloads of money on FIFA, but I don't understand the marketing of FIFA.
Because you gotta remember, Madden is specifically a North American kind of thing.
Right, yeah. Nobody outside of America gives a fuck. There's only American teams. There's maybe some Canadian ones, but like, hand-egg, gridiron, armored rugby, whatever you want to call it, like, American football is American football. FIFA is FIFA. It's soccer is really the world sport.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like I don't understand the marketing. But at the same time they make money, so I guess I don't have to. It's not for me, you know?
Apparently enough people play it that it does well enough and I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah. And then with Sims 4, which was okay. I mean, the trailer was good. There were some shockers. They were like, clean up the beach and go to Lua, and oh shit, it's a mermaid.
Mermaid!
I joked that, is this just socially acceptable Dead or Alive Extreme? Because they had, like, jet ski races and beach parties and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks entertaining. I don't know if my current computer is Sims 4 compatible. That's a little bit
they said it's coming out on. They said it's coming out on console.
True, it's on consoles. I don't think I don't think I want to play The Sims on console though. That's like that's a fiddly game with lots of different buttons. I'm like, that doesn't seem like it's gonna map to a controller too good.
Probably not.
But also I'm like, I don't want to buy all the fucking packs because we were reminiscing about the old days of Sims. I think I had the original like The Sims Deluxe, and then you like. God, the expansion packs. There's so many expansion packs, and each one was like 1 or 2 new CDs that you had to install, and then you always had to revert to the latest version CD, and it was like, damn, it was rough and tumble. So I'm like, I don't need that life right now. You do you, Sims guys, but
honestly, like, what do you play The Sims for? You usually play it like, I don't know, like, I think I get other games that fill my Sims niche.
Yeah, I suppose it would be your pseudo-escapism need. Like, I didn't say anything during the presentation, but I immediately thought of this when they talked about, so you move to this island, right? That's the pack, is you get the new island map and you move there, and like, well, for living here, how do you do jobs? And they're like, oh yeah, you can just pick up a job whenever you feel like it, relax from your vacation. And you can be a bodyguard and work on your tan, or if you like swimming, you can be a dive instructor. And I'm like, this is just modern wish fulfillment. The idea that you can just live on a tropical island and hang out and do work whenever you feel like it to get some cash. Because, that's not how life works.
No, it is not. It's how we wish it works. Therefore, wish fulfillment.
Yeah. But yeah, so that was EA Play. We're going to be back tomorrow for Microsoft and Bethesda. And Lucky will probably stay up for Devolver, but that's going to be a little bit late my time.
Yeah, I said, Devolver, the thing about Devolver always has weird fucking shows. They always have something really fucking weird.
Yeah, but they get into it.
Yeah, as fucking, Yahtzee, the fucking, game reviewer has said, the Revolver is literally, the druggie of, video game development. And it doesn't help that actually most of their games is usually someone on fucking drugs at some point. Kinda crazy. It's all 2D high pixel with thumping ass soundtracks, drug use, and gratuitous amounts of murder. Probably Devolver Digital.
Yeah,
so
we'll see some stuff about that.
Yeah. As I said, I know we're expecting this, but I'm already kind of missing Sony showing up because as much as I don't want any press conference to fail, it's the potential of missing I know even more Death Stranding, Last of Us 2, and Ghost of Tsushima, which are all the Sony exclusives. It's kind of leaving a bit of a gap in my heart here.
Yeah, and I think we talked about this. It's probably that they just don't have any new concrete news to go down, and so there's nothing to necessarily show.
Yeah, they don't want to. They probably don't want to get. They probably don't want to get their devs. All right, we're going to need an E3 build, so take time out of your fucking schedule.
Like I said, I'm sure that those guys. That's Sucker Punch and Naughty Dog were like, hey, you guys don't have to do dumb E3 demos this year. They were like, praise Sony. We actually get 2 or 3 months where we can do some fucking work for once.
Yeah. So, but I'm kind of hoping that Microsoft did what it did last year and just pay top dollar to premiere all the fucking trailers.
I bet they did, because I think they said that there's going to be more Fallen Order at Microsoft. I think they said that.
Yeah, because honestly, while I said this about last year's E3, while Sony was top quality. I gave the fucking award to Microsoft just because they had so many trailers.
And it wasn't necessarily a pro for Microsoft as a company, because lots of those things weren't exclusive to them, but they shelled out the money to show off a shitload of trailers and features, which was actually good.
Yeah.
They actually did what people want to go to E3 for, which was hey, here's fucking games, nerds. That's something I'll say about EA, was some of these presentations were good, some of them were not. It was just 6 games. Yeah, it was just the 6 games in a 30-minute deep, quote-unquote deep dive, which sometimes wasn't that deep, and they didn't talk about indies at all. They barely talked about upcoming updates to Battlefront 2 and Anthem and stuff. I mean, they didn't talk about mobile, not that people usually care about that, but they didn't talk about it. And it's
meh.
You're playing it pretty close to the vest. That's another thing I wanted to point out that I noticed. There were no fucking EA people there at all. Usually for the past couple of years, EA's, CEO or COO or somebody has stepped out on stage to, intro segments and stuff. None of that. It was just, they got an influencer, and they got actual devs from the dev team to come out, sit on the couch, and talk about the game. Which is,
who was that influencer? The cringy one?
It was Greg Miller. Don't call him cringy. He's a loud boy.
He was a little cringy.
Well, yeah, Greg plays a heel, and he'll tell you that. But yeah, the Kind of Funny is actually pretty big. That's his brand, is him and some other guys. They're big on Patreon and stuff. So that's kind of cool that they showed up. They got some exclusive access to Borderlands 3, so that's interesting that they're actually going up front and doing some of these presses. But they got some other guys.
I'm sorry,
it was pretty funny. There was the second guy was his handle was Golden Boy, and I'm this is very weird for you to refer to him as Golden Boy in a professional context. This is weirding me out.
Oh, man. One day, if we get on fucking, TV right now, they're gonna put my fucking Twitter on the bottom, and it's gonna be, Lucky Jackrabbit, and I'm gonna be that's me.
Yeah. Well, hey, I think I joked about that before we knew what EA was actually doing with EA Play. I was hey, I mean, if EA wants to fly us out to play video games in the background so they can say they have, content influencers involved. Fucking whatever. I'll play video games.
Yeah, I do video game good.
But they didn't really do that either. There was no like people playing, and like they said that you can go to their booths inside and play some of these games, but they didn't like show that off in the press conference. It was really weird how like hands off EA as a company was. Like they had their big logo everywhere, but otherwise they were like, we're not involved at all. Just game developers. Developers do stuff.
We're a good company. We give money to charities to prevent fucking bullying, online bullying.
Yeah, that was totally, I was like, that's wokenomics. Because it was like, we're giving up to $1 million to 3 charities. And I'm like, so fucking nothing then. Like, not that $1 million is chump change, but breaking up $1 million between 3 different charities, that's not a lot of money. And I don't know if that's necessarily a drop in your budget. Because here's the thing. You know how you make $1 billion? That's 1,000 millions. So if you are making multi-billions of dollars a year, which I'm sure EA is, and obviously they have to reinvest that, but if their profit is possibly in the billions of dollars or even hundreds of millions, 1 is not a lot of that. Seriously, if you've got 300 apples and you take 1 apple, you've got a shitload of apples left over. And then you divide that apple up into 3 parts. Ooh, so that is an adorable Wooloo gif I'm saving.
Oh, what? Excuse me.
Look at our
dumb. Mine.
Oh, shit, that's another thing I should jot down. We should talk about Sword and Shield.
We will.
I forgot about it. I'm trying to think because there's a thing that happens with E3 where even before it, shitloads of stuff gets announced or leaked.
Mm-hmm.
But like...
we'll talk about that too.
Like that's what I mentioned, Destroy All Humans. That was just a trailer that dropped from THQ Nordic.
Was that German rock, like German metal he was fucking singing?
Yeah, something like that. And it was like, yes, good. You've kept the spirit of this.
Oh no, but before I want to get back, before we get into that, there's one point I wanted to bring up that I've been holding on to. I was able to actually fucking keep it. I think they were kind of hands off because, as was mentioned, E3 is like not just these couple days; it's going on longer. Mm-hmm. So I think the intent was like, all right, this is what we're gonna have to show you. Now go out into E3 and check this shit out. Mm-hmm. Maybe not for EA specifically, because as I said, they can kind of have a side thing going. But it's definitely one of those things of, here's a taste of what we have to offer, now go experience for yourself. Go, like drive down to Los Angeles and try this shit out.
Yeah, and I think that also that works too, where it's kind of weird that, like, oh, they don't mention mobile or whatever, but maybe they don't have anything kicking, but, like, they definitely focused hard on the games, and, like, and, look forward to more from EA Play event. So I think it is kind of like what you said, where it's like, listen, here's the giant sizzle reel. These are what these games are about. Come check them out and consider buying them later. And if they're not ready to play, like FIFA was, we'll bring you more news soon, which I still think was part of how ridiculous FIFA was. But at least they were like, hey, we have a roadmap for stuff we're going to talk about as things are ready. So I'm like, okay, at least you planned.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck about your plan, but at least you try.
Like, honestly, again, I don't want any of these presentations to actually suck.
No, well, I mean, some people do for, like, schadenfreude, but at the same time, in the most part, it's like, no, we hope games are good. So yeah, like, I'm hopeful about Microsoft. I feel like Microsoft is probably the most likely place that they're going to show or Cyberpunk, which is like, I want it. I know they're going to do another long demo.
Like, I've heard, like, there's, like everyone is saying Cyberpunk is going to show up. Like, everyone.
Well, they have confirmed that they have a closed demo at E3.
Yeah.
Another, like, hour-long gameplay walkthrough. But it's closed to press, so presumably they'll release that like they did with the original one they did last year later, which will be super cool. Mm-hmm. But for now, they're still playing a little close to the vest, but I'm like, if they're at the show, they have to have, like, another trailer or another little something cut, right? Like, you don't go to E3 just to do a behind closed doors shit with like press people and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like, you could just do that
honestly,
anytime.
I think the one I'm probably, like, out of the, like, there's 4 ones that I'm, like, super interested in it. Well, I won't say super interested, but Microsoft, Bethesda, wait, do we even have a Ubisoft this year?
Yes, so I'm looking at the list. So tomorrow, Sunday, June 9th, as of the time of recording this, you were looking at Microsoft, Bethesda, and Devolver Digital.
Okay.
On Monday, June 10th, you were looking at the PC Gaming Showcase, Ubisoft, and Square. And then on Tuesday, Nintendo will do another Nintendo Direct.
Yeah, so Bethesda, Ubisoft, Microsoft, and Square Enix. Like, those are the big ones I'm, like, looking forward to. because like I think it wasn't too long ago that Square Enix dropped their latest Final Fantasy VII remake trailer.
Yeah, I'm still looking for more deets on that remake. I'm there. I'm sold. I just want you to tell me how you're presenting this to me.
Yeah. Ubisoft can come out with something interesting. Like I'm betting it's gonna be another fucking Assassin's Creed.
Maybe, I don't know. Like, did they release? They didn't release one this year, right? How many years ago was Odyssey?
I think Odyssey was last year.
Okay, so it won't be releasing this year, but they might announce when the one next year will be, because I think they said that they're not doing it every year anymore.
Yeah, Microsoft, I'm expecting that's where might get some more Modern Warfare news.
Yeah, that's probably where we're gonna get lots of trailers.
Yeah,
and I think that has to be the place, because normally I think Activision is pretty cozy with Sony, but Sony's not gonna be here, so like somebody has to show your fucking footage.
But Bethesda, like, here's the thing: I keep looking at Bethesda. I'm like, what do I want from you?
Bethesda's always weird. Like they're like way off site in like a hangar or something, and they have like live music, and Pete Hines and who's the other guy? Who's the Fallout guy?
I can't remember.
I forget him. You know his face. You know his fucking meme face, but I don't remember his name off the top of my head right now. I had to get up early to start this shit, and I've been going for like several hours. So
Todd Howard, that's what it was.
Todd Howard and fucking Pete Hines. Those guys are going to come out and talk. I hope Ron's going to be there.
I knew, like Todd Howard was my first word. I'm like, wait a minute, let me double check this.
Yeah,
I don't want people slaying me on YouTube for getting someone's name wrong.
That would require people to actually comment on what's up.
Oh, self-burn.
We do those a lot. Actually, that happened recently. We should talk about the Cards Against Humanity thing.
I'll put it on my list.
I'll put it on my list.
I'm bad. I'm an evil person.
Well, it was reinforced by the fact that some people in the chat were literally like, "What is that, though?" I thought, that's the joke, sir.
But so overall, I am excited for all these shows because you never know like what like publisher or developer is just gonna pull something out of their ass and be like, boom, surprise, and you'll be like, what?
Well, yeah, that's the thing. There will be brand new games that'll be announced here, and like that's always surprising is when they truly premiere new shit. Like that's I think what EA was a little bit disappointing because they didn't like talk about indies. That was the thing they've been doing a couple of years, really... which is like those are usually pretty cool sounding. Like
I want to say like Jedi Fallen Order is new, but it's not like
it's not out yet. But they already announced it. They already gave details. Everybody knew they were working on it. I think fucking last year they said the name.
Yeah.
So like that's not new. Everybody knows there's gonna be more Madden FIFA. Everybody knows there's gonna be more Sims 4. Battlefield 5 is already out. Apex is already out. So
yeah. So it's just
like
EA,
EA
I feel like they're trying to play it like super safe. Excuse me.
Yeah, well, that's probably what they're feeling, because they just had a very bad release of Anthem. That's a big stick in their eye. They still get complaints about Battlefront. Battlefield 5's Battle Royale mode was also kind of a no-starter. So, like, I can see why they'd want to play it cautious, but I think they were, when doing indies, they did stuff like Unravel or A Way Out and stuff, right? Like, that was them, I think. Mm-hmm. So yeah, those were always the really interesting ones, right? When they did those presentations, because those were small devs talking about their dreams and stuff. And I think there was some cool stuff last year that we didn't talk about at all. So hopefully, like we said, that maybe because EA seemed to have gone pretty hardcore on Microsoft and Xbox integration with Fallen Order. Like that was prefaced with and exited with an Xbox logo. So I'm presuming they're in more. So maybe EA will bring more stuff out with Microsoft. Yeah. And, then it's not their fault, right? If it goes wrong, it's just they had, like, a 5-minute slice and a trailer on Microsoft presser. They'll be less cringy.
So, I do think Microsoft is going to be the press conference to watch right now, but as I said, like, Ubisoft will probably stay their course. I don't think they're going to announce anything super fantastic, amazing. Like, they might come out with, like, probably... I think they had their next Ghost Recon?
They've announced the next Ghost Recon. Maybe we'll get some details on that.
They might announce some, like, Division 2 DLC, and maybe probably a new Assassin's Creed.
Maybe they'll announce new Assassin's Creed. What else is Ubisoft?
They might start a new fucking Tom Clancy title.
Yeah, who knows? There will be Just Dance will be there because it's always there.
It's always
and it'll
there.
be fun to watch anyway.
That'll be-
I wonder if has anybody seen if Aisha Tyler's going to be back? I know she loves those guys. I know what their big killer's going to be is Watch Dogs 3 because that got leaked.
Oh, it did?
Yeah, it got leaked that they're doing a
Oh
Watch
my
Dogs 3
God.
and it's in England, so that's going to happen. They'll probably actually show that. That's right. I was trying to think, what are other big Ubisoft franchises? Oh shit, yeah, that's right. I saw a news article about that details on Watch Dogs 3 leaked.
Oh god, Watch Dogs. I haven't touched Watch Dogs because I have
The first one
What?
is all right. It's not as phenomenal as they wanted you to think it was, but that's how.
yeah,
because
because that's what I heard. Watch Dogs 1 was the game one of those games that got over fucking hyped.
Yeah, it was like you can hack everything.
No,
yeah, you can
no,
kind
you
of hack
can't.
everything if you buy enough skill points, but like you're mostly limited to, oh, I'm gonna make the lights red. Oh, I'm gonna make the parking bumpers go up. I'm gonna make this car start an alarm. I'm gonna blow up a fucking steam main because that's a thing. But it was very
And then I heard-
strict uses of the game and like.
And I heard Watch Dogs 2 was worse.
Yeah, I didn't hear anything good about that game at all. Like nobody talked about it after it came out. Like there was a little bit of pre-hype, which was like, so we heard you. We tried to improve the different kind of hacking functionality. Here, you can hack an electronic car, and it'll like do the thing, and like drive itself or something. And like, okay, that's neat. But then I didn't hear anything about it after. So
Yeah, so like Watch Dogs 3 does not fill me with immediate interest, just more of slight trepidation, if you know what I'm saying.
especially because it sounds like they're doing what Ubisoft doesn't usually do, which is weird. Like, I think like Watch Dogs is usually their most politically active franchise because usually Ubi, which makes sense because they're not even fucking American. They're a French company originally, so it makes sense that they have nothing to do with our politics anyway. So like they don't jump head first. Like I remember, there were some stupid reviews about the Division 2, which were like, why do we want to defend the White House and the president? Because Donald Trump is president, and thus the president means nothing. I'm like, dude, fuck off. Like, the office of the president is still a big deal, and the president is fictitious. Like, just because Trump's in there for 4 years, and maybe 4 more years if people don't get their shit together, that doesn't mean the office of president of the United States is, like, permanently tarnished, especially in a fictional fucking context. You're just mad that they're not taking more shots at our current president in our Tom Clancy alternate future past game where America is in ruins, like in your fucking dragons and assault rifles game, like your make believe shit. I understand political commentary, right? I also understand games make a long fucking time to make, which means that if you want to make cutting edge relevant political commentary, you have to be shitty at it because you have to make it like 5 years ago. But I also understand that, like, dude, these are fiction. These are pieces of fiction. They do not necessarily need to be directly one-for-one correlations to shit that is going on in your life right now, right? Like, they can approach themes without necessarily having to exactly deal with what you think is a political hot-button item. Watch Dogs, I think, was slightly different from that, because, like, the first one dealt with, like, issues of anonymity and, like internet security and stuff. I didn't get too deep in the storyline, because also here's the other thing is it's fucking hard at points. Like, when you're not doing hacking stuff and you have to actually go out in the world and, like, run and shoot at people, it can be a little hard, because it's not very deep in that respect, unfortunately. Watch Dogs 2, I know they were like, oh, and here's our new protagonist. He's black. He's socially active. He's fucking crashing political campaigns with hacking. Aren't we cool? And I'm like, now, I'm sure you've got an interesting rundown for this character, and yeah, that's cool. Okay, he's, you switched from a generic white guy to a black guy. That's progressive, yes. Cool. But it does seem like it's weird that, like, you're continuing to be more politically proactive, and Watch Dogs 3 sounds even more. It sounds like they're going to talk about, like, Brexit and stuff, and I'm like, This feels like a situation where your politics could accidentally overshadow your gameplay, which is not good.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna mention. The best kind of political and social comedy is when it's done subtly under, like, the layers of the game. It's not something we put on flashing neon lights. It's like, this game is about activism. Like, no.
Yeah. And also, dear game devs, don't try to sell your game like it's about activism and yell at people when they're like, but dude, I just want my make-believe shootsy games. And you're like, why aren't you excited about our riveting social commentary, you dirty fascist? Like, don't yell at your audience like that. That doesn't score you sales, is the thing.
Yeah.
Like
I said,
like Division 2 sold really well. Gameplay reviewed really well. The game is really okay, even though certain quote-unquote journalism outlets felt that it wasn't biting social commentary enough.
Man, do you, cut you off real quick here. Do you remember when Far Cry 5 got revealed, and they revealed that shit was happening in America? Do you remember how mad people got?
Yeah, people got mad, and then people got mad when it came out because they were like, this isn't enough about right-wing terrorism and militias. Where's the fascism that is totally occurring in this country? And it was like, no, dude, it's just about weird Montana cults, and also the world can end, which is why they made the pseudo-sequel, New Dawn, which was weird, and is apparently not really that different from Far Cry 5.
I consider it like fucking Blood Dragon or whatever.
Yeah, it's the same thing. It's like Primal, where they basically took the engine and they reskinned it slightly.
Yeah. But still, it's like, when Far Cry 5, people found out that this bad shit was happening on our national soil, people were like, oh. People got real offended. And then when they found out more about the details, it's all like, how can this happen? And I'm like, you people are really, really don't get out much, do you?
No, I think that's a problem. I don't think anybody gets out enough anymore. Like, not enough people consider all the facets. They just want whatever it is they want. Whether maybe they want pure gameplay and they're like, get all your fucking politics out of here. You can't have any political opinion. Or they're like, we just want our fucking political opinions. I don't care how good your game is. Just give me more of my politics. And I'm like, neither of these is 100% correct. If you want to make a game that's going to sell, you have to actually make a good game that tells a good story and stuff.
Well, this is what I'm always telling, like, games, like, all games have layers, and it's usually, like, up to the players to see, like, what layers, like, apply to them. Mm-hmm. It's just that the game has to have those layers in the fucking first place and not try to shove them down your damn throat.
Well, yeah, and that's kind of death of the author, the idea that, like, you have to form your own opinions about what the game is about. Like, the author... The authors of the work do not necessarily have 100% of the say on what it's actually about. Like, J.R. Tolkien was famous for saying that he didn't write Lord of the Rings as, like, a World War II allegory, but if you read it as that, your opinion that it turns out to that is just as valid as his idea that it wasn't. Yeah. So, like, you have to be able to actually appreciate multiple themes and look at them and actually, like, find that stuff for your own. And the idea that, like, no, that's not good enough. You have to boldly declare your socio-political allegiance, even if it means you fuck over your game. That's dumb, too. Like, that's not letting the players and the consumers of the medium form their own opinions and, like, figure out what they think the themes are and how they apply. That's just, you want more political soapboxing, and you're angry that game developers don't want to spend millions of dollars and 5 years of dev cycles. In the past, too, is the other thing. It's like, you're mad that they didn't do this, like, 5 years ago, because that's the game that's coming out now. It started 5 years ago, guys. That's something that
I think we talked about
I've talked about a lot about games that's kind of like pissed me off.
Critical thinking and critical thinking. Like people gotta like think for themselves. Like the game can't like think for you. You have to play the game and form your opinions through it. And if you find out that what you've learned through it isn't something that you necessarily like subscribe to, that's not necessarily the game's fault.
Right. And also, like I said, like that's something that's peeved me off lately is, like, okay, obviously there are some games that appear to have not used their dev time correctly, like Anthem. It seems like they did not organize properly and actually do the steps you're supposed to do. But most games are, like, made quite a ways in the past. They start at concept levels and they move to modeling and they start iterating and all that, and expanding and all that stuff. And, like, yeah, that takes time, and, like, there's only so much you can change. Now, I know that, like, finalizing, like, dialogue is usually late, because that's all the stuff that has to go in last, but, like, your general story structure and, like, mission type has to be decided pretty early, because that's how you're building the game, right? Like, if your game goal is to, shoot cops, let's say, you're making a cop shooting game, and that's really bad, don't shoot cops. But if suddenly it becomes socially unacceptable to shoot cops, like 2.5 years to your 5-year dev cycle, you're like, well, shit, we've built the entire game engine on the idea of shooting cops. What are we going to do? And I don't know what you do. You scrap the game, or you rebuild all your assets, and you take, like, 2 more years, or your game is shitty. I don't know. Like, you can't pivot game design on a dime. It doesn't work like that. And I feel like there have been some stories, I can't think of them off the top of my head about specifics, but I feel like there have been games that have had this pivoting problem, and they have come out worse for it, where, like, oh, you can very clearly tell they had to change the direction of this game, like, halfway through, and it did not work out.
Oh, no, I can tell you several. Fucking Final Fantasy 15.
That's a good one. That's a good example where they changed what they were doing several times, I think.
Yeah, Duke Nukem Forever was another one. Last Guardian kind of had this problem, but it still survived, I want to say. It's a game that I didn't buy, I just watched someone else play, and I'm like, yeah, that's all I really needed. I don't know if there was any other games that I can, like, manage off the top of my head.
Well, I mean, you did it better than me. I couldn't think of anything off the top of my head, so.
Yeah. Yeah, well, there's a couple examples for you.
Yeah, Final Fantasy 15 is a good one. That is a game I think everybody agrees suffered for just not knowing where it was supposed to end up, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And we know for a fact that they pivoted a couple of times, because it was supposed to start as Versus 13, and then it ended up as 15. And we definitely have an episode somewhere where we talk about that at length.
Oh, yeah. I said, I have thoughts.
Is there going to be? Do you think there's going to be more 15 DLC at Square Enix, or are they done with that?
Oh no, they actually said they're cutting off. It was like back in February, I want to say.
Okay, so they
announced they're done because they're stopping with episode of the villain, and they're not giving out the fucking episode Ariana, who was the fucking Dragoon chick, who was like, this girl's amazing, and I was all like, table fucking flip.
I cry.
Yeah, I cry. So yeah, they're definitely done with it. So, I think they said they're coming out with like one more like master fucking edition, so you can have fucking everything. And then
then we're done. We're all about Kingdom Hearts 3 DLC and the remake. 7 remake.
Well, I don't know. They're probably gonna try to, like I said, Square's I don't know. Maybe the SquareSoft one is probably gonna be only like a half hour.
Well, actually, let me see if there's anything after it. I don't think there is. It starts at 9 p.m. ET, so I hope it's not super long. But it'll probably be like an hour.
Yeah, an hour. So they might talk about a couple of their mobile games, because they do have them. Mm-hmm. Probably Kingdom Hearts DLC, Final Fantasy Remake.
Yeah, they're probably going to be more deets on the Kingdom Hearts DLC, because I know Nomura talked about that. They talked about how we're working on a story pack download, which will kind of do some of that stuff that Final Mixes usually do.
And they might fucking who knows, maybe Yoko Taro will come out in his fucking Moonhead and show off like the new Nier. That'd be great.
And also we didn't mention it, but they might do some more detail on 14, because is that a new expansion out yet, or is that still coming?
Actually, I think it comes out this month.
Okay, then they'll probably have some final hype it up. Like, hey, it's coming. As a reminder, please buy it. Play our game. I don't know for sure. That's why I asked.
Oh, July 2nd.
Yeah, okay, so they will definitely cover that a little bit at E3 and be like, hey, BG Dubs, this is coming out. Please buy it. Okay, thanks. Play a Vieira.
Play a Vieira, or play the Guy Rays. What race again? Whatever.
Nobody cares.
Bunny Girls!
I mean, the Vieira are a great aesthetic design, and it's funny how far they've come from a weird thing in Tactics Advance on the Game Boy Advance to, like, oh yeah, we're gonna add them as a mainstream expansion to our huge MMO title because you love them so much.
Well, that's the great thing about Final Fantasy XIV is it literally incorporates things from like all Final Fantasies into this great huge conglomeration. So, and they're adding more things. Like, as in, like, if I had the fucking time and the money, I'd get back into Final Fantasy XIV, but I don't, so I can't, and I cry.
But yeah, so that's probably like 3 of the big things. I don't even know what the fuck Square does.
They have a lot of IPs under their belt. Like,
I mean,
Star Ocean. Another Star Ocean would be nice, because personally, I don't think there's enough fucking space JRPGs.
You know what I think would be nice? I think it's about time for them to announce a 3rd fucking Deus Ex.
Yeah, that's another one.
Because number 2 kind of ended in a rough spat. I'd like a continuation there.
They also technically have Tomb Raider. And they said they just finished their fucking, what do I want to call it? Their setup, their trilogy to let me put this quote, establish Laura's character.
Right, they rebooted and they did character development, so
I guess. I like the Tomb Raider games, but they're a bit flawed. Not gonna lie. Let's see here.
Hitman
But,
is under
like,
them too.
yeah,
I don't
so-
know if it's time for a third Hitman in their reboot.
Like, again, like, I don't know how I like Hitman, but I treat Hitman like a fucking puzzle game, because that's literally what it is. It's just a really complex puzzle game.
Yeah.
You're in a set piece. You're given a whole bunch of options. You're like, solve for X.
Honestly,
That
that's how their mobile game works too. Hitman Go, right? It's just literally like find routes to things.
Yeah, so it's like, I enjoy that, but like, I don't know if I could get hype about it again. Like, I enjoy playing season 1 occasionally. I'm like, all right, because it's, oh god, what's the word? It's kind of cathartic, I want to say.
Yeah.
You just hit that point, and you're just like, I really don't have to think. I'm just gonna wander around in this fucking waiter suit and just follow this guy until I can fucking
I mean, it's pretty fun to play. I think it's also super fun to watch. Like I wouldn't mind new seasons so other people can buy it and play it, and I watch them. And I'm not as good as them, but it's still funny. But yeah, that's another big Square Enix title that they might. I don't know.
Deus Ex, Tomb Raider, Hitman, Star Ocean, Final Fantasy. They work with Yoko Taro, who has fucking Nier and Drakengard.
Yeah, but I think isn't he working on the Switch thing right now?
The Altered Chains? I think it is.
I think because I think if I remember rightly from a recent direct,
no,
they advertised that as from those guys from those games.
Yeah, I know Platinum is working on.
Yeah, I
Altered
think
Chain.
specifically though they mentioned though that it was from the mind of the guys with Nier Automata or something. I don't know. I'd have to watch the trailer again.
Let me double.
That will hopefully see some more out of the Nintendo Direct because I actually care about Nintendo because I'm probably going to get a Switch in the next couple months.
Give me fucking Metal Gear Rising Revengeance 2. Fuck. Let me see here.
Well, I mean that was by Platinum, so maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Is Konami at the point where they're willing to whore out the license?
Oh, Babylon's Fall. That's the thing they're working.
That's what they're working on.
That's for
right.
Microsoft Windows and. Okay, let's see here because I just pulled up. I just pulled them up. Yeah, they're working on a game called Babylon's Fall.
I think I remember that having a really weird esoteric trailer that answered nothing.
Yeah. And it's still apparently in development, and it's by Platinum Games, so maybe. They had a trailer last year.
Alright, well, so Square Enix is a big one to speculate on. Like,
Yeah,
we were talking about Bethesda earlier, where Bethesda's like, I don't know what Bethesda's gonna bring. Like, are we gonna acknowledge Fallout 76? Because that's had some problems, but it's also had some improvements, I think. But
we're probably gonna get is
Bethesda really pitched 76 as like, hey, we've never fucking made this type of game before, so like, we're learning here, which I appreciate. I appreciate that they were like, hey, we're trying something, we're experimenting. The experiment didn't necessarily work out cleanly, but they tried.
Okay,
Doom
so
Eternal we'll probably see.
So I'll throw out some of the recents. They just released Rage 2,
right? So maybe some Rage 2 DLC. Rage 2, which got unfairly bullied by the gaming press, I think.
Yeah,
my understanding is that most people's problem is that it's open world Doom, but it's not quite as doomy as Doom, so it's not as fun.
Like, just from my initial impressions, I give it like a 6 or a 7. And, I just need a fucking 5 for me to enjoy a goddamn game.
Yeah, it seems like it's above average. It seems like it's okay.
Yeah. But again, people don't want 6 or 7s. They want 8, 9s, and 10s.
Mm-hmm.
But looking at Bethesda, we got the Dishonored series. We got the Wolfenstein. I said they teased the one last year with BJ's daughter. They have the Evil Within, which has 2 games under its belt right now. I don't know if they actually did that well, though. I
think they were okay, but people were mostly like, hey, can we play Resident Evil but for real? And then they were like, oh shit, we can.
And here's an interesting idea. They also did Prey. You gotta remember, they did Prey.
Yeah, they did. They own Arcane, who did Prey. I wonder if we'll get a Prey 2. Because they did a DLC, so, like, hey, I wouldn't be averse. I fucking love Prey. That game was on point.
Yeah. So, as I said, last year they teased the next Elder Scrolls game. I don't know if this is gonna be like. I think they actually said
They teased that, and they also have a space RPG coming. I think those are both like super future announcements, though.
Yeah. So. Ooh, fucking.
Well, okay, Lucky. I've realized. Here's the problem. Bethesda's also going to talk about Elder Scrolls Online, and they're going to talk about mobiles. Yeah, they're gonna waste some time in the middle of the night on that, and that's gonna be sad.
That is gonna be sad. Ugh. But
my one problem, like I want to be like, and pray they let Obsidian make a New Vegas 2, but they're not gonna, because I'm pretty sure they've said they're not interested in farming out Fallout to or farming out their IPs to external studios anymore, which is fucking sad because.
Well, again, and Obsidian's working on the Outer Worlds right now.
Right,
so.
yeah, they're working on their own game, which is probably going to be pretty good.
Yeah, just gotta get it on the Epic Game Store, or if you're buying it on PC. I don't know how their console.
I know, probably buying a console will be safe. Don't know.
I know Borderlands 3 is going to be on console. I'm still struggling with this if I want to buy that on console or not.
Well, hey, if you do, we'll be able to fucking play together because, like, I'm totally buying it on console. I don't know though.
Let's see. They got some Star Trek. They got some Call of Cthulhu. Yeah. So honestly, we're probably gonna see some Wolfenstein. Probably gonna see some Dune. See some Elder Scrolls. Some Fallout 76. Some mobile shit. And who knows what else.
Bethesda will be interesting. Bethesda's always interesting because they started with such a strong conference. That was the Fallout 4 mic drop, and it'll be available later this year. Oh, by the way, we're also doing Fallout Shelter. That's available right now.
I download that shit immediately.
Yeah, I haven't played it lately because I don't have any fucking space on anything mobile. But like, it's a thing. It's fun.
All your Vault Dwellers.
I'm glad they added more to it because Fallout Shelter was kind of easy to max out at first. Like, it was just like, assuming you didn't completely fuck up and get like Deathclaw rated immediately or something, you were like I was able to build pretty steady vaults. So let's see. I need to wait for my microphone. After Microsoft and Bethesda, because Microsoft is just going to be trailers. Maybe they'll talk about the next Xbox, but mostly trailers.
They might like try to sell their.
They do have that new all-digital edition, yeah.
Yeah. Let's see here.
But trailers, Minecraft, probably Minecraft Earth, which is their new AR. They have a new AR Minecraft, so they'll probably try and sell you on that. I think people have said that supposedly there's going to be Halo Infinite gameplay. So I'm okay for that. Like, I'm not going to buy an Xbox to play Halo, but, you know, I like Halo. And a lot of their games recently have been dual between Windows and Xbox, so I'm interested anyway. I'm interested in what they're doing with Infinite. Like, it sounds kind of like they're doing a full-blown reboot, like a soft, not a remaster, but like a full-blown like relaunch, reimagining.
Oh, nothing new under the sun, as they say.
But we'll see. We'll see probably tomorrow.
Again, I'm always excited around E3.
No, because there's always a little something like even like you were talking about with Madden. Like the Madden conference was genuinely good. They did a good 30 minutes on it, and they took like most of the time. I think that the countdown timer was like 30 seconds left. So
yeah,
like that was surprising.
None of us in the chat really cared about Madden, but we were still interested enough in what they were saying to actually keep track of what was going on.
Yeah, we paid attention and we talked about what was actually on screen as opposed to like FIFA or Battlefield 5, which was we talked about fucking whatever because we literally didn't care.
And FIFA, we were talking about Kiyohime from like FGO's Kiyohime and why she is how she is. That's how far changed it we were.
Yeah. So yeah, we got a little out there. And then Square Enix will probably be interesting just because we'll want to see what they bring. And Ubisoft will probably be interesting just to see what they bring too. Like that's the thing that E3 is usually good for, is like it's interesting to see what people trot out and what they give you more details on. And hopefully there's some more new announcements, because I feel like that was something that EA definitely lacked, was like actual new shit. Like you knew there was going to be another FIFA, you knew there was going to be another Madden, you knew there's more shit for Sims 4. Like all the other games were already announced.
No NBA game though.
No, not featured anyway. I know that they've done stuff to revitalize that franchise, but I don't know if they got stuff. Whatever, it doesn't matter. I'm a little befuddled. I got some more stuff we want to talk about though.
All right, good. Keep going.
I think we've mostly covered our E3 plans for like an hour.
Well, yeah. Like honestly, again, this is an exciting time.
Well, yeah, and also, like we said when we started, we literally just stopped. I think it was like a 5-minute break between the two. I grabbed lunch during the FIFA fill-in. But so, there's a couple other things that are not necessarily directly E3 related, but are video games related.
Mm-hmm.
Sword and Shield had a direct, where they showed off some new mechanics and some new Pokemons.
Showed off a new character who was immediately looted.
Yeah, one of your two new rivals, is it starts with an S. Is it Stacy?
Let me go check our Hella Not Safe for Work channel.
Exactly. But like, yes, no, her design was immediately
Sonia.
taken. Sonia, that's right. I knew it started with an S. Immediately started with the arts a lot. Like,
a lot.
Not quite Bowsette levels of takeover, but similar. Like, the internet drawing machine immediately took over. And we're like, damn, some people are fast.
Oh, yeah.
We got to see what our legendaries are. They are Sword and Shield Doggo.
I don't know how I feel about this. I really don't.
It's a little weird, but we'll have to see what the themes are.
Like immediately, I'm all about that Sword Doggo because, Shield Doggo looks like he has a fucking parachute for our main.
Yeah, Shield Doggo's design is. I'm glad for once that Pokemon, based on thematics, you made the game I want to buy, the one with the cool one. You've screwed me over a couple times with that.
Also has those. Also has the same like design characteristics, but instead of a shield man, he has a fucking sword in his mouth. I'm all like, I am down to clown with this.
Right, and I'm like, yes, for once, the game I want to buy is the cool one. Yay! Because swords. I like swords.
Believe it or not, I am not all about those fucking legendaries. They showed off two Pokemon's fucking Woolo and Corviknight. I'm like, I want these.
Well, yeah. So I believe it's been firmly established that Sword and Shield, the region, is supposed to mimic Great Britain.
Yep.
So you've got who everybody assumes that she's very English or Scottish, the female character.
It's a great name.
There were a lot of good jokes after she was announced. And her design was shown. But like even the Sword and Shield dog are kind of like that style, and you've seen some of the backgrounds. But also, Wooloo, the sheep. So yeah, they're sheeps, and it's pretty adorable. We'll have to see if it's got any other forms. And then fucking is it Corviknight?
Yeah, Corviknight.
Corviknight, who is I believe steel flying raven.
Yeah, it looks so badass.
He just looks like a boss, and I'm like, yes, I'm there. That's it. That's a good Pokemon design. Do you think Pokemon was designed bankrupt? No, fuck you. They got some cool shit in the back. Also, yeah, Axe is right. The gun jokes don't stop. Like, people are posting Digimon with gun wolves as the theoretical gun legendary because I love it. I love the sword, shield, gun joke.
It has not stopped, and I think that's amazing. I think that my favorite one is it had like the same design as a dog, but just it had like a pistol coming out of its back. I'm like, oh my god. It was great.
But yeah, so the sword and shield looks really good, and I'm sure I'll pick that up.
See, here's the thing. I'm not sure that, like, I tried this, like, with Pokemon X and Y. I tried to get back into Pokemon, and I couldn't.
I think I still can, because I've still played, like, I've missed a couple recent ones, but I could still jump in, because I've played some older titles. I'm hopeful, though, that they aren't as tutorial-heavy as Sun and Moon was. Like, some people were like, this is something I heard. Like, I heard a commentary was like, and big gym battles are back, which wasn't a thing in Sun and Moon. I was like, wait, what? How do you not do gym battles? Was it like the anime where you befriend people and get the badge? I don't know. But now in Sword and Shield, you clearly have giant fucking stadiums with huge audiences, and you, like, fucking show up for a battle, and I'm like, yeah, dude. That's how it should be.
And also there's fucking kaiju battles.
Oh, yeah, there's the, oh, that's dumb. That's dumb. The more I hear about Sun and Moon, the more I'm like, this was dumb. This was a dumb idea. Pokemon, you tried too hard to make it different. It didn't work.
I can talk about Sonic Mania.
Yeah, a little bit. I downloaded and played it, but I feel like I don't have the muscle memory for Sonic, so I'm like, this isn't nostalgic to me. And while it's kind of fun, at the same time, it's like I don't necessarily feel attachment.
Yeah.
To the gameplay.
I'm gonna tangent over to Sonic Mania here real quick. I understand why people fucking love Sonic Mania now because it's original fucking Sonic.
Yeah, basically, like, it's just Sonic again, but with HD sprites, and they mashed up some different maps.
Yeah. Oh, also, you can actually go into options and turn on fucking the CRT lines. So if you want to get that real nostalgia, there you go. Because that's what a lot of people were complaining about. These new Sonic games is like, this ain't Sonic, and like, did you actually want a 2D scroller with like high pixelated graphics? Apparently, the answer was yes. So, some people don't like change necessarily. People like to stick with things they're comfortable with and they know. So you talked about Sun and Moo like making a departure from that. It's just like,
No, Sonic Mania is very Sonic, and I'm like, I appreciate that this is a good thing, but I wasn't a Sonic kid, so I'm like, I don't feel this kind of emotional attachment to this gameplay. It's just, okay, maybe I'll play it sometime.
I played it for 2 hours and deleted it.
I was a little bit shorter, but yeah, same. But I also needed to make space for another thing, which is PSN's having a sale right now, Days of Play, where lots of shit is on sale. Like, lots of good shit. One of which is Horizon Zero Dawn Definitive Edition for $9.99. I'm like, I think I have to buy this because I'm never going to find a better deal on that ever.
Yeah, I remember it was when we were done recording Let's Talk After You. I was like, I'm going to go look at games chat, and you're like, what? And you're like, shit. I think that
that's like I said, like I think they said that quote unquote the store price digitally was $20, so it's only 15% off, but I'm like, no, that's like, I don't know about that. Because it comes with the full game and DLC. So it's got the Frozen Wilds DLC or whatever. And then it's also got, like, the digital art book, like art of Horizon Zero Dawn, and a digital dynamic theme. And I'm like, even if you say that that's like a serious discount, you're still cramming a lot of value in here. The only reason why this is $20 in the first place is because you artificially decreased it. That's a lot of value for $10. I'm gonna get it. And I got it. And I had to delete a couple things to make some room because my external storage is somehow super full. Thanks, PlayStation Plus. I realized I need to cull some of those games I'm not going to play anytime soon. But I downloaded it, and I haven't played it yet. I've been busy all day, so I will catch up after this. Maybe. I don't know. I will either catch up while listening to Lucky stream, or I won't. I don't know if you feel like you want to stream, having done 7 hours last night and had to get up early today, and we've been talking all day today already.
I'll probably stream. I won't do 7 fucking hours again, though.
Okay. So, well, maybe I'll just wait for the archive, because I got other stuff to do. Been a busy day.
No, I said I won't stream for 7 hours.
No, but I have like 3 or 4 hours of archive to catch up. Maybe I won't. Maybe I won't tune in if you're doing it tonight, because I went to bed early. I'll catch the archive like other people do.
Wow. Detroit Become Human is down to $12.
Yeah, I thought about that one too, but I'm like, I don't.
Rough.
As much as I do want to play that game for myself, at the same time, I'm like, I don't know if I want to buy that right now, because I don't want to buy too many games at once, you know?
Yeah. Oh god, Resident Evil 7 is $14.50.
Mm-hmm. It is. The Days of Play sale, like, check it out. I don't know how long it's going on, but it's a good sale. Like, I know people kind of shit on, like, Microsoft and Sony for not having good discount sales similar to, like, Steam, but no, like, this is a good fucking sale. There is good stuff in here. There are good bundles. There's good, like, some add-ons are discounted and stuff. It's a pretty good deal on some major games. So check it out, everybody. I'll play Zero Dawn, and I'll probably have my thoughts for you next week on it. So we talk about most. I want to talk about Pokemon. Talk about.
Yeah, but speaking of other things that came out, we talked about the Death Stranding.
PSN. We talked about Death Stranding a lot last week.
Modern Warfare. So it turns out, we actually had a legit leak.
Oh yeah, leaks. Talk about these for a second, because I have to like take some deep breaths. I'm getting a little lightheaded.
Woo! Breathe, son, breathe. So we actually had a legit leak from the Bandai Namco website, in which someone was able to actually get details on several games that are coming out. One being the new Tales game. Now, if you aren't familiar with like the Tales games, it's actually a pretty big franchise. They have like dozens of games under their belt. The last of which was Tales of Syria, which I love. And their next one is called Tales of Arise. But that wasn't the only one that was. They were also talking about the game from being developed by From Software in collaboration with J.R.R. Martin, being called Elden Ring, which is coming out for the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, PC. So people are excited about that, and we're hoping they're getting some news somewhere in E3. And the third one is not so much shocking, but still a welcome surprise. Is that there's going to be a Ni no Kuni Wrath of the White Witch remaster for the PS4 and PC, and a release of just a regular release of it on the Switch.
Yes. I still haven't beat that game. I like that game a lot. I got it on PS3. I still haven't beat it.
Yeah.
It's a for-real
Same.
JRPG.
Because I think a game being leaked is one of those words that get thrown around without people actually understanding what a leak means.
No,
Like a leak
last year, I think it was the Walmart thing where Walmart accidentally listed titles that weren't announced yet. That's a leak. That's, you goofed.
Yeah. Someone goofed, someone messed up, or something got subverted. Like Kojima coming out and saying, like, hey, here's my Death Stranding trailer, bro, check this shit out, release date, boom. That's not a leak. Modern Warfare trailer, that's not a leak.
No, that's a professional announcement that you think got leaked because, quote-unquote, it's ahead of E3, but no, they just wanted to release that.
That's all, like, we ain't going to fucking E3 this year, so here, have this now while we wait for the next state of play. This is I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, but that's what I'm hoping from Sony in the next couple weeks is like, boom, state of play at press. Here comes all this shit. Because, as I said, their big three, they probably got nothing for, but their last state of play, they actually showed off some indie stuff. And I'm hoping they can do some more of that, because I like indie stuff. I really do. It just has to be... I don't like all indie stuff. That's the thing.
Well, yeah, much like indie films, indie is not really a genre. It's a methodology, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like, how truly indie are these studios if they get bought up or get deals with like big names like Microsoft and Sony, right?
Yeah.
But they're still indie style because they're operating with small teams and stuff.
Hang on, I have to comment on Honolulu and her loot.
Yeah, I think this got posted. Did this get posted? No, okay. That's the same one.
But someone else is talking about it, so...
Yeah, I know. I think we briefly mentioned it earlier, but we didn't talk about it much on the yeah, but yeah. They're finally releasing Honolulu Summer Skin for AL, I think. With some more. Who else had one? Was it... Oh, it was Sirius. That was right. I was like, who did Camper say was going to kill his wallet? I think it was the Sirius tease. Sirius is getting a... I think I said this in our chat at the time when we were talking about Honolulu. Like, I feel like that's Honolulu's character is like, she's the one unfortunate things happen to that don't make any sense. It's like,
yeah,
kind of like that's a very Japanese thing. Is like the quote unquote clumsy girl.
Like as I said, like I appreciate the lewds, the titty and ass, but at the same time, I'm like, how did this hose get up in between her breasts when she is wearing something? I can't. I am confused. I think it's actually like under the line or.
Yeah, actually, that's a good question. Is it? She's got the triangle shape, but it's. I don't see the right angles. I think this is a live 2D though, so somebody's probably.
Oh god, if it's a live 2D, it's gonna be worse. Holy shit!
I feel like her skin was, but I'm not sure.
Sorry, I was tangent. I don't like. Unlike Omega, I don't mute all my channels when we record, and I see something light up. I'm like, hey, what's going on?
Yeah, I don't mute all of them. It's just if there's a major discussion going that I know I'm getting distracted by, I do mute it.
But what were we talking about? Before I got distracted by Honolulu titties.
Oh shit, that's a bad question to ask me today. Hold on, brains, big brain. We were talking about indies and state of play. You were talking about leaks.
Leaks, yeah. So we did have a leak with the Bandai Namco site. Hopefully they come up with some more news just throughout E3 in general, so we can, like, you know, because who knows, maybe there's like, shit, we got a leak, we better give them fucking something.
That's usually what happens, and that's why people usually leak things, is so there has to be an official comment.
We're gonna force your hand. But let's see, was there any other like interesting news that's popped up around E3? Oh, you said we mentioned Destroy All Humans. Did we mention Destroy All Humans?
Yeah, we did. A couple of times. They dropped a trailer that they're releasing the game again with THQ Nordic, and it was super cool. But there's no details.
Complete remake.
No details, just they're remaking it, and it looks good. It looks like they've... Because the original was on PS2, so the graphics were somewhat limited because they had to be, but it feels like they've kept a kind of cartoony style to deliberately invoke the first game, which looks good.
Well, it's a remake, not a reimagining.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they're rebuilding the first one, and it looks like they're keeping some of the style of it. So like they're deliberately making it stylized as opposed to just, well, that's as good as you could get on the PS2 era.
Yeah. I'm gonna say I never had the opportunity to play the original Destroy All Humans, so I don't know. Like I might depending on how much it's gonna cost and how much much.
I'll have to see what they're actually doing with it. But I'm super interested because I love those games. When I was a teenager, that kind of helped influence my snarky humor style, because that's all about subtle double entendres and like just smarmy ass snarky talking. Like, and there were some jokes you don't get. Like, if you beat the final boss of the first game with the anal probe, she, because it's a she, actually comments, "Hey, I'm used to it. I work in government." Like, the game's just full of jokes like that. A lot of which are subtle and only occur in certain situations. So I hope they manage to keep the humor.
Let me think here.
I mean, there's another video gaming thing that released recently, but it was Japanese.
Oh?
Yeah, they had a full character trailer for Persona 5 R for Kasumi.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Where they talked more about her character. I saw an English subbed one that I think I shared, but it's pretty good. It immediately established her as a precious cinnamon roll.
Yes, very much so.
She tries to surprise you on the trip with, like, monster hands, and, like, I think it's like, konnichiwa. You can respond to Aloha, by the way. That's an option. If you don't pick it, you're a moral coward. She can go to the batting cages, which was a place that left so little impression, Lucky could not remember that they existed before.
It's true!
Which I think is fair. Like, I know some people were on you like, no, they were totally in there. I'm like, I mean, I remember that they were in there, but I don't remember ever going to them except maybe once, so I don't think it's a huge deal.
Yeah,
like, that's good that they're actually, like, introducing new characters to old locations.
I think this is why. I think I remember why. I think I know why it didn't leave an impression. I don't think you ever go to it with another character.
No, it's one of the things you entirely do solo, just for training.
Because like fishing always left an impression on me, because you can go to the fishing pond with Yuji and fucking the teacher shows up. You can go to like all the other locations and hang out with your friends, like the restaurant, the food, all that stuff. But like the batting cages, I don't remember ever hanging out with anyone there.
No, I think that's just that's one of the things you can do by yourself, like in your home neighborhood.
Yeah,
which is probably why it's there. But now it's cool that like, oh hey, Kasumi's got a thing there, and she completely sucks at it.
And it's cute, and you're like, oh, this precious girl. It's one of those moments where I am just like silently pressing like the photo button on my phone.
Mm-hmm. She also is apparently a big eater, because she goes to the restaurant and she's like piled high with like 4 or 5 bowls. She must burn a lot of calories.
She is a rhythmic gymnastic.
Yeah, and also they showed off her some of her gameplay. They showed off her all-out attack. It involves ribbon gymnastics. And they showed off a little bit of her awakening and persona. So her persona is Cendrillon, which is, if I did my research right, is the spelling of Cinderella used by Perrault's version. So her persona is Cinderella. And actually watching the dialogue subbed, like I know some people were like, that seems kind of at odds with her, like, you got to do it yourself attitude. But no, actually, I think it's on point, because her dialogue in that awakening is, I'm gonna be me, and I will repay everybody who helped me along the way. So that's her awakening moment, is her coming to this realization where, like, I will pay people back who helped me, because that's how it should be. Like, I think she's not in this for being a phantom thief, but she's in this because she thinks Joker is cool, and just, like, obviously we're gonna help her out of a bind, and it's gonna be like, well, shit, I have to pay you back, because that's just how she is. So I think that's gonna be cool, and we'll see what her persona does.
I'm kind of curious why Charles Geo yet.
I actually don't know, because Hans is. I don't know. Maybe it's because they don't want to make more. It might be because they haven't introduced new bronze units for shitty casters. Who aren't that shitty.
Well, I'm sorry, slight tangent. It's just one of those things. Like Perrault, Grimm, and Anderson are like the 3 fairy tale masters. Like
they wrote the most iconic versions of many fairy tales. Like I believe
Yeah.
Perrault was responsible for Little Red Riding Hood and lots of other stories which are based on earlier folk tales.
Let me pull it up real quick. Yeah, Little Red Riding Hood, Cinderella, Puss in Boots, Sleeping Beauty, Bluebeard, which is, Casters Guild operation.
Yeah.
I don't know. Sorry, it's just slight tangent. It's one of those things I'm like, hey.
But yeah, so that, as usual, looks super cool, but for the moment, they're like, and it's still worldwide sometime in 2020, not
and we're
coming
like,
to...
no!
Because there's still a shitload of dialogue we gotta translate and stuff. There was another interview they did where they clarified that, they don't have any plans to bring P5R content to other platforms. It's still exclusive with PlayStation. They also talked about how if you bought P5 DLC before, that in Japan at least you'll have to pay, because of laws, you'll have to pay like a 10 yen, so like a penny like handling fee, and then you can re-download it. That will probably not carry over to other regions, but that's not necessarily Atlus's fault. And hopefully they do a similar thing if you did buy extra DLC for the original P5, which, hey, I hadn't done yet. I never got around to buying extra DLC, so I'll save it for Royal.
I think I got the free DLC.
Yeah, some free stuff, but like I didn't like buy like the costume packs or anything, even though because they changed the music and stuff, I'd love to do that sometime, but like it's not a big deal. Also, hopefully they rebalance some of those extra personas, because I heard that some of them are pretty intense.
Yeah, I never did.
But yeah, so P5R's ticking along. Hopefully there'll be more news and more details in the future, and obviously there will be some assholes who spoil the whole thing in October, but we'll try to avoid that. And I'm just more interested in not what actually happens, but more like what the structural changes are. Like, how does the whole new month work? Is it like legit a new month? How does Kasumi enter in this? Is she at the beginning, at the end? What do you do? Kind of stuff, right?
Let me take my original P5 data and start a new game plus immediately!
No, they clarified that. But if you have existing Persona 5 save data, you will get a bonus at launch, which they said will help you through early game stuff. So I'm like, ooh, that sounds cool. Maybe it's like some free levels. Maybe it'll be like you get some boost to your default stats. I don't know. But they said that there will be an old save bonus, but because they're so different, you cannot transfer New Game Plus data, which kind of makes sense.
Just give me that expedite ring that gives me like 50 more experience. I think I'll be happy with that.
Yeah, honestly, if it's just like it gives you some free levels and some XP in your stats, that's fine. But like, we'll see. We'll see what it is. But that's a cool bonus. That'll be something that'll be interested in what that mechanic is, and just like, I don't want to know the new story until I can play it on my own, but I want to know how stuff like new mechanics work.
Yeah, like tell me like the new social links, like new month. Tell me about like hanging out with a friend works. Like, did they expand upon that?
Yeah, like what's the setup for hanging out with the twins? Because we've seen that screenshot. Is that like a one-time thing? Is that an alternate to their social link now? Their confidant?
Well, you gotta be like to be fair, like their entire social link was you bring the monsters. Like, bring us a monster, level up.
Yeah, that's how
I always kind of felt
Margaret worked in the original P4 too. I don't know if they changed that ever, but yeah. Which
so like,
technically was a step up, because Elizabeth in 3 wasn't actually a social link. She just was a series of quests you could do. But it was still super cool. So, like, if they bring back the quest element, even if it's divorced from the social link stuff, that's okay. It's just I do want to know how they work it. And yeah, like I said, I want to know when Kasumi joins the party, because that's going to be really telling to how she affects the story. Because apparently she transfers to school about the same time as Joker. So, like, is she going to be, like, early? Is she going to be late? What's the scenario here?
I'm hoping like it gives some time to actually develop her character, because...
Well, here's the thing. I think her being introduced right at the beginning with Joker as also a transfer student, like, even if you don't hang out with her, if you can, like, see her around school and see what she does sometimes, and maybe have some cutaway scenes to her reacting to stuff, that's way better than Haru got. So,
ooh. Like,
that's another thing. Like, dude, if you're taking a full remake, insert Haru into more scenes early on. Like, do more stuff with her early. That was her problem. Was you backloaded so much of her character development into like the last couple months, and it sucked so much for her.
Yes.
Because she sounds like a super interesting character, right? And like she's very, very fluff and all that, but goddamn, it's hard to work on her. But yeah, we're excited for P5R. That's not news. Let's see. Let me check the time. We're just under 2 hours, so I will probably push us over 2 hours with a real quick talk about something else new that happened. I haven't double checked Netflix because I've been busy, but I think the new season of Kakugurui might be out. I've heard people talking about watching it, so I'll be checking that out.
Give me 1 second here. I will fucking.
All right, Lucky will check that off, Mike. But I'll look into that if it's actually out. I've just had a busy weekend. But something that was launched new on Amazon, which I think mentioned was coming out last week, but I hadn't watched it yet, was the Good Omens TV live action miniseries. I watched it on TV, but you can watch it other places. It was amazing. It was phenomenal. I loved it a lot. It's only 6 episodes. That's why I said it's basically a miniseries, right? Like it's pretty concluded. Unfortunately, with Terry Pratchett's death, there's not likely to be a sequel story. But
When the March comes in.
What you talk about, Lucky? You got it?
Oh no, I'm pulling up Netflix. Netflix has added. I'm looking at it. They have added a lot of new anime.
Okay, I haven't looked at it lately. Though I do follow a Twitter account, which is Netflix
Okay.
Anime, which tells you what's added and removed every month.
Oh, it says season 2 coming Thursday.
Okay, so this week. All right. So people are probably watching the first season to lead up to it, which I will also do.
Yep.
I'll take that time. So that's cool. But yeah, Good Omens on Amazon Prime. Phenomenal. It's an excellent adaptation. I say this is a big fan of the original book. It's very good at adapting the plot points, but also doing its own spin and adding some extra stuff in there. Because, like, you know from, like, knowing that the story exists, you probably know that, like, there's not a lot of tension in it, right? Like, because you're pretty sure that the world is not necessarily going to end at the end. Probably. They do some, like, post-climax stuff, though, that keeps some of the mystery where you kind of wonder where they're going, and it's pretty good. So as an adaptation, it's excellent. It's got a really good plot. The story was good to begin with, so this handles it really well. All the casting and acting is top-notch. Once again, David Tennant killing it. Amazing to see how flexible that man is an actor. I think the last big thing I saw him in was Jessica Jones as you know, Purple Man, whatever his quote-unquote real name is. But he kills it as Crowley. It's just really well made. Also, fuck ton of Queen soundtrack. Really good use of Queen. They play different parts of Bohemian Rhapsody like 2 or 3 times, which is good because Bohemian Rhapsody is like 3 different songs. But anyway, it's very excellently made. It's the wit is top notch. The narrator, they keep a narrator, who they refer to as God. So quote unquote, so supposedly God is narrating. Snarky as fuck. I love it. It's the humor is 100% on point, and it's just a great watch. And like I said, it's only 6 episodes. I killed it in an evening. It's a pretty good watch, so you should check it out. Good Omens. And if you can't sit and watch TV, read the book. I don't know. But yeah, like I said, I like it a lot. It's really good.
Sorry, I'm just like going through Netflix.
I think I scratched most everything off my list here at about our 2-hour mark. Lucky, do you want to talk about the gaming hole you're stuck in?
I can talk about it a little bit because I think I talked about it a little. I've gotten into the Trails deal part of the Legend of Heroes franchise, which is an old franchise, but they've the past like I want to say decade or so have been pushing a few series, like 3 series in particular. One is Trails in the Sky, which is the game, which I think they're all translated. I think maybe not the third one. But I know the first. And then Ao no Kiseki and Zero no Kiseki, which takes place in the same universe, but is not translated. And then the series that I'm playing, Trails of Cold Steel, which has 4 games, 2 of them are which are out right now on the PS4. The third one, which is coming out November, and the 4th one, who the fuck knows? And like I said, I really like this. I really do. Like I talked about playing the first one last week. I'm pretty sure, but like I love the characters. Everyone's so fucking wholesome. Like shit gets real. Shit got really fucking real. So if you don't want Omega, I don't think you're gonna play. I don't think so. I don't think it's quite your. Well, actually, it could be your jam. I don't fucking know, but I'm still gonna fucking spoil the ending. Well, kind of spoil it.
I'm like half asleep, dude. Do it.
Because I got a genre whiplash moment at the end of the fucking. So basically, you're going out through the games. Everyone's like, it's like you're in a war. It's like you're about, I would say, World War I analog, like between World War I and II. The setting has a thing called orbital energy, which is basically magic energy, which they're using to develop things like cars, guns, and, you know, all these new technologies. They're coming up with, like, communication technology and stuff, and they're all making all these innovations. And so, like, oh, okay, cool, we're, like, in, like, World War I, World War II, you know, a whole bunch of things. Like, instead of armored cars with, like, gun turrets on it, they're actually making tanks. And you're just, like, going through this. I'm like, oh, yeah, I still got my sword and shield, but, you know, I got some guys who carrying a fucking, like, magic shotgun. I got this small girl who carries dual gun blades. You know, it's fanciful, but it's not, like, super crazy. You get to the end, and there's fucking mechs. They just drop fucking mechs on you. You're like, where did this come from? And then you get a mech. I'm like, where did this come from? And then the game ends. Like, at this point, you're just all like, why is this happening? I was like, excuse me, where's the next game? I need some fucking answer. I had to wait 2 days, and I was vibrating the entire fucking... Like, it's one of those games where there is obviously a big plot of... And you only get so many fucking... Which I appreciate, I do appreciate. But when I get done with 2, because, let me see here, how many hours am I... That is the wrong game. Okay, let me open up the proper one. Like I said, I just got this game Thursday. Ah, shit, I'm in a cutscene, I can't check. I got this game Thursday, and I'm already like 15 hours into it. And I do not have as many answers as I want. I'm like, God damn it! And I think this is the mark of a good game. It's all like, a game that pushes you to play because you want to know what's fucking going on. And it's also a game of a lot of fucking characters. Like, last game you had like, 12 characters, I want to say, that you like play throughout the game. And this game is saying, hey, you're gonna get even more. I've heard like by the end of the series, you're gonna have like over like 20 playable characters. I'm like, oh my god, what is the scope of this game? Not to mention that there's gonna be cameos from like other games in the series, because as I said, Trails in the Sky and Ao/Zero no Kiseki also take place within this timeline, and there's gonna be overlap. I'm like, it's like this is like some Marvel Cinematic Universe shit going on right here, and I get to play it. I'm really excited. So yeah, I've been in a deep hole. Like, I haven't been watching anime recently. I haven't been playing, like, any other games recently. My gacha is suffering a little bit from it as well. People have been remarking about it on Discord. It's all like, where's Lucky? Is he not going to terrorize us? It's like, it was actually funny, and someone says, it's time to rebel. And it was that moment I decided to show up, and people were like, I was just like, They deleted their message. That's what I thought. But, yeah. I said, I'm gonna beat this game, and I'm gonna beat it real fucking hard. I'm probably gonna beat it multiple times, because the Trails of Cold Steel has a New Game Plus system, which is kind of like the Tales system. When you beat the game, you get like 5 New Game Plus points that you can spend, and every time you beat the game, you get an additional 5 in addition to the 5 you got. So eventually you can just buy everything. That's probably gonna happen while I wait, and I'll probably pick up Trails in the Sky in the month between 2 and 3, because goddamn, I am fucking hooked. Like, I always hear, like, we have a couple people in our Discord who talk about how much they love the game, and I was like, oh, yeah, I'll get into it. And, I got into it, and, boy howdy, I can see what they mean. My heart is crushed in some areas, and I need fucking answers. Oh, that is a sad. So, Qua just posted in our, Gacha Games chat images of Zeppy and Graf Zeppelin and their lines. Zeppy, who is the small Graf Zeppelin, says, despair and hatred mean nothing to me. I believe that as long as you don't give up, you can make any dream come true. Then Graf Zeppelin saying, I despise everything. I'm like, oh girl, you grew up so cold! Why do these PNG battleships make me feel? Come here, I'm gonna head pat you both. I'll probably head pat Graf Zeppelin on the chest. Or the legs. So, other than that, do we really have any gacha news to talk about?
No, not really. We talked about FGO stuff. There's nothing new, and the new pickup event in Girls Frontline hasn't started yet.
I do know they extended the deadline for the Das Bismarck House.
Yeah, that got,
which I'm happy for.
They got more time on that, but I don't think there's anything new yet. I mean, they've previewed a couple of ships that are coming up, but like you, I'm not a future seer with Azure Lane, so if it happens, it happens. Whatever.
By the way, what does SS mean in fucking Azure Lane?
What's the context here?
Oh, I'm trying to do one of the hard mode maps, and it says average level ABSS. What the fuck is SS? Hang on, let me go look at some.
I think
I want to see like. Yeah, I know, but
subs SS class.
Yeah, I know, but here's the thing: when it says the submarine flats do not count towards the status requirements. So I'm like, wait, then how is this supposed to work?
Yeah, I don't know. You're asking the wrong guy about Azure Lane stuff. Like, I deliberately ignore those people when they try to tell me about their big brain stats. I'm like,
oh no, same
whatever.
Here, but I need to this is like a basic thing I need to figure out real. Yeah, but yeah, like I'm definitely in that trend. So like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do like this for like trash mobs and my boss mob carriers. I'm like,
I don't even know what you mean by those. Like,
yeah,
do different people for different things? Whatever. Listen, I learned that if you put Vestal and Enterprise on a team, they are fucking invincible, and I'm just gonna go with it. I'm leveling up Bismarck and Tirpitz because holy shit, Guambo combo. Yeah, I'm gonna have an all gold backline of Iron Bloods.
Is it just broken? I don't fucking know, because AS is anti-sub.
Yeah,
Cost
ASW
AV.
is anti-sub. I don't think any stats abbreviate to SS.
I am so shook right now. I'm not going to ask for help, though, because I'm pretty sure the Apache helicopter will be like, excuse me, you don't know what that means? Filthy casual.
I do know that occasionally AL has had some display errors. It's because they're in such a rush to bring us new content. We're getting stuff as it also goes live in like China and Japan, so I'm sure their translations are a little rough sometimes.
Yeah. I'm not going to fault them for that. It's just...
No, like, they've come up with a strat, and it's okay. It's just, that means that sometimes you gotta deal with these little errors.
Okay, so everything's clear. I'm just going to use advice. Yeah, I wonder if it has to do with destroyers.
Yeah, is SS like sonar stat? I don't fucking know. I don't necessarily know what they mean.
Me neither. Ugh. Is that Maggie? Yeah, Maggie's. I usually don't use the advice. I usually pick my teams because, as always, I like my teams to be on point. Because I like to.
Yeah, I mean, I don't with hard mode. I don't bother with that because I'm just like, okay, tell me what you want, and I'll work with this. And if I don't like a combo, I'll be like, no, I want to move that ship over there because sometimes they do something like, even though only 2 carrier slots are required, and then like, then we stuck a 3rd carrier in there for you, and I'm like, do I really want to put all 3 carriers in my back line? I have a monitor or a BB back there I can stick there? But usually I let them.
That's what I'm doing right now.
Which reminds me, I need to go figure out where the best way to. I use a lot of blueprints, and then I'm like, fuck, how do I get blueprints fast again? I'm like, shoot, I need to figure out what maps are best for this, other than just poke hard mode, which is it's really hit or miss. Because I want to do Colm's retro, but anyway, the point of this discussion is, while we are befuddled by Azure Lane, there's no new Azure Lane news.
Yeah.
Same with Girls Frontline. Lucky, did you try any new gacha games over the week?
No, I've heard some people trying some other ones, but nothing's really like picked me. I do know, like, apparently we're going to be getting the English release of the Madoka Magica gacha games. And some people have been trying to push me to that, but I'm like, no, I don't have time. I really don't.
That's fair play. Don't let them peer pressure you.
I'm not.
They're not the boss of you.
I know, they're not. But at the same time, it's one of those things like, God, I wish I had more time to play games.
Yeah, but we don't, so gotta pick and choose. And
I remember on one of my
I don't know, if it actually comes out and like people play it, maybe you can learn that it's dabbleable. But if not, yeah.
That's how I feel about like Bang Dream. Bang Dream, I have like no, like I don't feel any like, no, I'm just gonna go like spend like 20 minutes like playing a fucking rhythm game, and whatever happens. I don't need to like actually be on the ball every fucking time. And at the end of the day, the high score is just literally a score. It says nothing about like how you actually do. So that's something I'm like, yeah, I can dabble it, and I'm okay with that. But like other gacha games are usually not so. Heaven forbid you miss an event in Azure Lane, FGO, or Girls Frontline.
God, especially in like Girls Frontline or Azure Lane, then it's like, well, you missed like 6 units, and we're like, shit. Well, shit. If you want them back, you have to do random drops on future maps, and you're like, fuck. That sucks.
So, yeah, so like,
though I should mention, I built K11, so that was pretty cool. I shared that earlier. Got a good build.
I need to figure out.
I'm just doing builds and doing logistics, waiting for a real mission to start.
Well, I'm trying to get my liver break and buy all of this Bismarck house.
Yeah, fair.
Let me say I'm not succeeding.
Well, if we don't have anything really big news to talk about, there's one more thing on my list. I want to briefly mention because I don't want to be here forever because I'm kind of tired.
Right.
We played Cards Against Humanity with the community.
Oh yeah, we did.
What was the occasion? We just were fucking around and there were some people in general and we decided to fucking crash their party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how lucky do.
So we just jumped in and we're like, hey, what's going on here? And then we chatted with people for a little bit because people were just hanging out. And then we got to shit posting. That's right. We got to sharing old memes. Like some people wanted to see some old images and I dragged up a screen cap from a long time ago of a Cards Against Humanity round and people were like, oh yeah, that's really funny. And then I think it was you, Lucky, who was like, yep. Do we want to just play a round of Cards Against Humanity? I was like, hold on, I'm there. The moment you brought it up, I was like, I'm in. Hold on. Who wants to play? How many people do I need to set this to? So we played a couple rounds. We included a variety of them. We used our own fan pack, which we made through Cardcast, which we probably need to edit. But I think most of the jokes landed, still. And it was just super fun to play with people and have people read stuff out. And I'm really glad we didn't record it because the internet does not need record of me saying some of those things. Because in addition to my own rounds, I also took it upon myself for like the first-ish game for people who were muted in chat to read out their options. Lucky you took over a little bit later, so I didn't have to constantly read them all. But like, there was a decent amount where I was doing an extra amount of card reading, and hey, it's. Listen, I love Cards Against Humanity if you play it with a good group, especially if you include in-jokes.
Oh, yeah.
But goddamn, still, there's some stuff where you're like, man, please don't take that out of context. And there were some humdingers in there. We got a couple screen caps which people shared and I saved, but like, it was a good game all around. It was like, shit, we need to do that more. So we're not like announcing any plans in particular, but hey, hop on our Discord and hang around, and maybe some evenings we'll be like, hey, I'm not doing nothing. Lucky, are you doing anything? Well, let's just derail this entire evening.
The thing I'm gonna remember most about, I can't remember what the actual context was, but what was it? The one that I used Fate bonus stage for. You remember the combination?
I think it was something like what it was something very on point because it was like, what don't people remember, or what do people not, do, or whatever.
I think it was like something blank. What the hell is that? Or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
And I put Fate bonus stage, and I was dying laughing.
And it was Omega one of our own prompts, by the way.
Yeah. And Omega was like, ooh, that's a deep burn. And then everyone else was like, what's Fate bonus stage? And I'm all like, it proves the point!
Like, oh, that's when I, because you called me out on it. When you called your shot, you're like, Omega, I just played a card that's a deep cut. And I'm like, okay. And then I saw it, and I'm like, oh, shit, you did. That is a deep cut. For those who don't know, we were originally going to do a spin-off for more OC-type content that was Fate bonus stage. And we did a couple episodes where we speculated on, we made Fame-8 events and servants and stuff. But we kind of let it slide because it was kind of a lot of work, and people didn't seem super enthusiastic about it. Like, people liked making their own servants and writing stories and stuff, but we didn't really have a good way to use the content, I think.
Yeah.
And it was also involved a lot of work and research and nonsense and stuff, which we don't need because we already have several shows we do that for.
Yeah. Well, honestly, this is one of the reasons why I took the bonus stage.
Well, yeah, that's what I was going to spring off to, which was after that conversation, you were like, hey, do we need the bonus stage thing? And I'm like, we don't, but I don't want to delete it because people, like, did effort to, like, present fan-made stuff in there. And you were like, well, I want to change it over to OC. And I'm like, oh, okay, that totally works. And we made a new text channel. It's called OC Creations, and it's like, hey,
and it's actually getting more traction, which is kind of the thing I wanted. People are actually posting stuff in there.
Yeah, and first of all, people have immediately taken to posting their own drawing work in it, as opposed to art dump, which was okay before, but like this is obviously like, oh yeah, that's totally on point. That works.
Yeah.
People have also talked about writing and stuff they do and other things, and they're like, yeah, this is going well. This is good. It's getting healthy activity. We had to put a warning. I edited the rules so to say that you can post as much of your own art as you like in OC Creations, but also I put a warning out there when we talked about launching it, which was like, hey, if you post something in OC Creations, make sure it's actually your original content creation. Violators will be prosecuted.
Let me see. I think I actually got some. I haven't drawn anything.
I think that was a conversation in the Cards Against Humanity thing was talking about art thief. No, that was a stream. We talked about art theft.
Yeah.
Because somebody else was talking about it in the chat. So, like, yeah, no, we're against that. Don't steal art. Like,
they're rude.
Tracing is a different conversation. Like, heck, I don't really draw, but I have used tracing paper to trace illustrations before and then, like, color them in and stuff. Following lines is a lot easier than, like, doing your own edits. But, you know, they say imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, and, like, that is the fair use paradigm, right? Is taking something else that somebody did and then, like, putting your own spin on it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's transformative. But just straight up stealing somebody's art and saying, this is my art, when it's not, is no good. That's no good. But yeah, so that was cool. Both the Cards Against Humanity was super cool. We had a lot of fun ones in there. There were some ones that I won that I thought were surprising, and then there were some other ones where I was like, yes, this will win. Good.
Oh man, this was old. Holy
neither
shit.
of us actually won either game, because we've only played 2. I think if we do that again, I would set the score lower to like 5 or 6, just so the rounds can go faster.
Mm-hmm.
Not that you need to have the game, but like if we're in the middle of a competition, right, we want to settle who's winning without people having to leave. But we didn't win, but we came close, and there were a lot of good hands. You and me were like tied for second both times, I think, a lot.
Yeah.
And then, like we said, the OC Creations is doing good. So, like I said, I'm a little sleepy now. I've been awake a while, and I tried to go to bed early, and I didn't sleep so good from it. So I feel like I kind of want to wrap this up. We're over 2 hours, which is I think our minimum cutoff for what's up, and I don't think we really have any big deal to talk about. Lucky, did you have anything else you want to talk about?
Not in particular,
because I've run through all my lists that I made before we started, so I think we're pretty good. So I figure we'll wrap up here. If you're a patron listening to this in audio format or download or live, obviously, come stay tuned to us tomorrow for like we said, the Microsoft and Bethesda, and Lucky will probably stay up for Devolver. Like I said, I don't know if I'll have life through all that. But come check that out, Seth. And if you're watching this on YouTube, I have no idea what day of the week it is, so I don't know if you can join us for anything. Womp womp. Who knows? It's not super late, so.
Damn it, Ron! Why are you here?
Because this is his place to be. Is art.
I know, but that's the thing about Ron. Ron's always like, "Hey, let me show me some of your old art." I'm like, I don't want to.
No, the one time he's offering advice about arting.
Yeah, I know.
All right, okay, I'm gonna wrap the show so you can show art to Ron or whatever.
Okay.
If you like this episode, give it a like. If you have any comments, leave them in the comment section down below. Yeah, that's about art stuff. That's not about your comments. We love your comments.
Yeah, no, please give us comments. Give us comments how you want Lucky to post more art and shit.
Of course, if you're new here and haven't already, please subscribe to the channel so you can always get our latest videos, and consider hitting that bell for notifications so you always know when we post a new video. Like I said, What's Up usually takes a while to like process and upload and all that, so it gets a little weird. But hey, if you want it right as soon as it's done recording, consider supporting us on Patreon. You can get access to this episode in audio format as soon as it's available. Literally, I will edit and I will export, and it'll be posted to Patreon. For just as little as $1 a month. Really helps us out. Keep stuff moving. And as always, we thank you for your continued support. So, this has been What's Up. We will see you next week for more What's Up, and we're also going to do Let's Talk FGO. We may or may not record What's Up a day early, depending, because we're going to delay Let's Talk FGO, so I don't know. We'll talk about that later. Because we don't plan that far ahead. Alright, I guess, unless Lucky wants to make some other kind of weird Lucky noise, we're out.